the Interstellar Mecha cook. Hey! Look who's back for more adventures. We love having you here to continue this story that keeps us all awake. Important note, all of this is pure fiction, so don't try any techniques you hear here in real life. Your neighbor might call the cops. This amazing novel and all its rights belong to the original author. We're just the ones giving it voice and drama. Are you enjoying the show? Prove it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and leaving that like that motivates us so much. And if you want VIP access to exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting with things you won't find anywhere else. Chapter 101, Reflection on Anger. With a virtual game connector, Lin Miaomiao didn't go to the training room for the next few days. Besides eating, sleeping, and chatting with Liu Cao and the others, she spent her free time playing virtual games. Liu Cao and the others were speechless about her decadent lifestyle and even more furious at Yi Hongwen, the gift of the virtual game connector, a good kid, turned into a gaming addict by his gift. Fortunately, they arrived at their destination, Yalan Planet, at 7 p.m. on the fourth day. Since they arrived late at night, the team leaders decided to hold off on the actual competition until the next morning. After landing, everyone could stay aboard the battleship for the first night or disembark. Upon receiving the news, the members of the soy sauce team gathered in the cafeteria to discuss when they would disembark. Liu Cao asked nonchalantly, "Captain, should we disembark today?" Yu Zixin curled his lips and threw his hands up irresponsibly. "How should I know? It depends on whether you want to go." "I don't mind anyway, you're the captain." "Shouldn't you make the decision?" Liu Cao protested. "Come on, you all know how the captain position came about," Yu Zixin said, unfazed. "So let's discuss and decide these minor matters," Fang Licken suddenly asked. "What's the captain's decision?" "Of course, it's something as important as how to distribute the food," Yu Zixin said with a grin. "Everyone, get out." After the laughter, everyone finally got down to business. Zhu Chen said, "I just saw several teams go down, and 3 of them are teams made up of our classmates. Why don't we go too?" "It's boring here anyway," Liu Cao suggested. "Let's go down early and get a feel for the situation." "Yeah, that means an extra night to prepare," Zhang Xingyun agreed. Zhu Chen said, "I suggest we rest aboard the ship tonight and talk about it after daybreak." "Why?" Liu Cao and Zhang Xingyun asked in unison. Zhu Chen didn't explain, but simply looked at Lin Miaomiao, who had remained silent, and everyone else looked over. "Why are you looking at me?" Lin Miaomiao was baffled. Weren't they discussing business? Why were they staring at her so intently? Liu Cao facepalmed. She was truly foolish, expecting this kid, who was obsessed with games all day, to offer advice. "Miaomiao, do you think it's better to disembark tonight or tomorrow morning?" Zhu Chen asked. Zhu Chen hadn't realized Lin Miaomiao had been so preoccupied with games these days. He simply figured that although she was young, she was quite opinionated and should be able to offer some advice. Lin Miaomiao blinked and casually said, "Of course, we'd better stay on board. It's so late, we can't see the road clearly, and there's no place to rest." "Are we going down there to feed the mosquitoes?" everyone thought. That's right. It's pitch black at night, making it difficult to explore the route, and finding a place to sleep is a hassle. It's better to rest up on board and disembark early tomorrow. After turning around, the soy sauce team agreed to meet at the restaurant at 6 o'clock tomorrow, have breakfast, and disembark. Then they all went back to their rooms to rest. After Lin Miaomiao followed Liu Cao and Feng Licken back to her room, she pulled out her virtual network connector and prepared to play the game again when Liu Cao slapped her hand and snatched it away. "Cao, what are you doing?" Lin Miaomiao asked unhappily. Liu Cao frowned. "Go to bed early. Don't be thinking about games tomorrow when the competition starts," Lin Miaomiao said guiltily. "How is that possible?" Actually, it was possible. Lin Miaomiao was still young before her time travel, and because her family was poor, she had never played online games. This time, the virtual network connector Yi Hongwen gave her to pass the time seemed to have opened a new door for her. The joy of killing monsters and leveling up was truly amazing. Lin Miaomiao's denial didn't reassure Liu Cao. She opened her communicator and sent a video message to Yi Hongwen. Once the call was connected, she began to chatter. "Teacher Yi, could you please come to the training room? Miaomiao has something to return." With that, she ended the call and dragged Lin Miaomiao out the door, leaving Lin Miaomiao feeling depressed. When the two arrived at the training room, Yi Hongwen was already waiting by the door. Seeing Liu Kai'er holding Lin Miaomiao in one hand and the virtual game connector in the other, he suddenly had a bad feeling. After Liu Kai'er explained her purpose, Yi Hongwen silently took the connector and said helplessly, "It's my fault. I didn't expect she'd never touched this before. She's so young and so easily addicted." Liu Kai'er didn't dare to blame Yi Hongwen, only muttering, "Miaomiao is usually very self-disciplined. No one would have thought she would be so addicted to games. Just be more careful in the future." Lin Miaomiao whispered back, "I'm not addicted." Unfortunately, no matter how much she protested, the two of them were convinced of her and promised to keep an eye on her and keep her away from games. After returning the connector to Yi Hongwen, Liu Kai'er dragged the reluctant Lin Miaomiao back to her room and forced her onto the bed to rest. The girl had been playing games day and night and had dark circles under her eyes. Lin Miaomiao lay in bed, hugging the blanket, closing her eyes in a huff, feigning sleep. She felt Liu Kai'er had been overreacting, even disturbing Teacher Yi to take the connector back. She wondered what Teacher Yi would think of her. After days of poor sleep, Lin Miaomiao sulked for a moment before falling asleep. She half overheard a conversation between Liu Kai'er and Fang Liqin, hearing Liu Kai'er blaming herself for letting her indulge in gaming these days. She feared it would be troublesome if she couldn't change. Then she heard Liu Kai'er crying. Suddenly, a startled realization struck Lin Miaomiao, bringing her back to reality. What was she thinking? She had given in to the temptation and fallen into gaming, and Kai'er had just been trying to pull her out, yet she still found Kai'er annoying. Secretly opening her eyes, Lin Miaomiao saw Fang Liqin holding Liu Kai'er and comforting her. She bit her lip. Suddenly, her communicator beeped twice. Lin Miaomiao stirred deliberately, pretending to wake up. Liu Kai'er immediately wiped her tears and fell asleep with her back to Lin Miaomiao. Lin Miaomiao got up, quickly glanced at Liu Kai'er, and pretended to be confused and asked Fang Liqin, "Should we go to bed early? Why haven't you slept yet?" Fang Liqin's face looked a little unnatural, and she forced a smile and said, "I still have to go to wash up in a while. You go to bed first." Lin Miaomiao responded and checked the communicator. She found that the text message just now was sent by Yi Hongwen. She clicked it and saw only a short sentence on it: "Go to bed early. Get off the ship early tomorrow, and settle the score after the selection competition." Lin Miaomiao pouted immediately. It was obviously him who gave her the connector, and he actually said he wanted to settle the score with her. Well, in fact, her willpower was not strong enough. She had to pay attention to it in the future. "I will apologize to Kai'er tomorrow," Lin Miaomiao thought before going to bed. Chapter 102 Breakfast sold out. On the second day after arriving on Yalin, Lin Miaomiao woke up at 5 o'clock and found herself unable to fall asleep. Glancing over, she saw Liu Kai'er and Fang Liqin still resting, so she quietly got up and washed. After washing, with 45 minutes left before assembly, Lin Miaomiao hesitated whether to return to her room and wait, or go to the cafeteria to eat. After much deliberation, she decided to go to the cafeteria first to grab a bite and find out how many teams had remained on board the ship the previous night. The cafeteria usually opened for breakfast at 7 o'clock, but today was the first day of the official competition, so breakfast was moved up to 5 o'clock to accommodate those who wanted to leave the ship early. Arriving at the cafeteria, Lin Miaomiao found it relatively empty. None of her group had arrived yet, so she decided to order. After grabbing a basket of crystal buns and a cup of sweet soy milk, Lin Miaomiao noticed the white steamed buns next to them and asked the breakfast machine attendant, "Do you have takeout bags?" "Yes," the machine replied. Lin Miaomiao said, "Pack me 50 steamed buns, 50 meat buns, and 2 pounds of mixed vegetables." The robot waiter neatly packed the items and handed them over. Lin Miaomiao also ordered a box of 24 cartons of peanut milk. After putting the packed breakfast and milk into the space button, she paid the bill and found a seat with the crystal buns and soy milk. Someone saw Lin Miaomiao's actions and followed suit, packing a lot of things and putting them into the space button. Lin Miaomiao's eyes flashed when she noticed it. She slowly finished her breakfast, then went to the snack counter to buy a few pounds of mung bean cakes and chestnut cakes, which she packed and put into the space button as usual. Finally, she bought enough breakfast for the other team members and brought them to the table on trays. Around 6 o'clock, the members of the soy sauce team came to eat breakfast one after another and were surprised to see Lin Miaomiao sitting at the table. Fang Liqin asked in surprise, "Miaomiao, you got up so early today?" Lin Miaomiao nodded, Early to bed and early to rise. While speaking, Lin Miaomiao handed the honey cake in front of her to Liu Kaoyer. Your favorite cake. There was no trace of sadness from last night on Liu Kaoyer's face. She just said with surprise, "Thank you, Miaomiao, you are so biased. I like honey cake too, but you don't even give me a piece," Yu Zixin complained dissatisfiedly. Zhu Chen immediately stood up. "I'll get it for you," Lin Miaomiao said expressionlessly. "No need to get it. This is the last one." "How is that possible?" Yu Zixin's eyes widened. He turned back to the cake counter and saw that the machine serving cakes was gone. A sold-out sign hung on the counter. He was stunned. How did the cakes sell out so quickly today? Everyone looked over. It was indeed true. They then looked at the other breakfast windows. Without exception, they all had sold-out signs. They felt a little relieved. "Thank goodness Miaomiao bought it for us first." Lin Miaomiao looked up at the sky. Could she really say that all this was her fault? The latecomers realized they had run out of breakfast. They thought the fleet kitchen hadn't cooked enough, so they could only dejectedly prepare to disembark to find something to eat. The instructors had also come into the cafeteria for breakfast. They had to ensure that all the students disembarked before 8 o'clock. But when they arrived at the order counter, they discovered there was no breakfast left. They were also stunned. As teachers, they naturally wouldn't think the Dawn Fleet hadn't cooked enough breakfast. It had been planned at the meeting last night that the students would have enough breakfast this morning, but what was going on now? There were 10 teachers leading the team, led by Vice Principal Leng Qing, a man with 20 years of teaching experience. Seeing this, he quickly contacted the Dawn Fleet's captain, Yu Chu, and asked her to arrange for the cafeteria to prepare more breakfast. The representatives of the various military fleets and the fleet members hadn't even had breakfast yet. Lin Miaomiao blinked, wondering if she should investigate the cause. While she was confident she wouldn't be punished, it was still a waste of time. Seeing everyone finished breakfast, she urged, "Let's go. We have to disembark before 8 o'clock. Yu Zixin, still upset that he hadn't been given any honey cake, objected. "What's the rush? We still have over an hour." Lin Miaomiao squinted at him. "Wouldn't it be better to go down early and explore the environment?" Could Yu Zixin say no? Of course not. The fleet's gate was open, and several members of the fleet were guarding it. One of them was Jin Dashi, the man Lin Miaomiao had chatted with. Jin Dashi still remembered Lin Miaomiao, and when he saw them preparing to get off the ship, he kindly reminded them, "It's still raining outside. Do you want to leave later?" "Oh my god, it's raining. Doesn't the school check the weather forecast before arranging competitions?" Yu Zixin said angrily. Liu Kaoyer chuckled and said contemptuously, "When you join the fleet for missions in the future, can you discuss with those monsters to take an intermission on rainy days? That's different." Yu Zixin defended himself. "This is just a competition." "I didn't say it's not a competition," Liu Kaoyer said coldly, "but this is our graduation selection competition. Whether we can enter a good fleet depends on our performance. What's the point of being a soldier if we are afraid of rain?" Yu Zixin was at a loss for words. Lin Miaomiao didn't bother to pay attention to their quarrel. She simply said to Jin Dashi politely, "Don't mind my poor parenting, Uncle Jin. Also, thanks for reminding me, the rain won't stop anytime soon. There's no difference between going down now and waiting." Yu Zixin Liu Kaoyer glared at Lin Miaomiao. She was the youngest, so why did she use an adult tone to say that their parents had poor parenting? In the end, everyone agreed to disembark now. After all, they had tents and could find a flat place to set up camp and get out of the rain. As the soy sauce team disembarked, Leng Qing learned the real reason for the severely insufficient breakfast. He was immediately amused and confused. Another teacher approached and asked, "Vice Principal Leng, do you want to get the list of students who packed their breakfast?" Leng Qing was stunned. "Why, of course they'll be penalized," the teacher said matter-of-factly. "We're not allowed to bring their own food, and they actually took it away. They deserve to be punished, and the ones who led the charge should be punished severely." Leng Qing waved his hand. "Forget it, Zhang Run. This happened because we didn't do our job well. They can't be blamed, the rules were detailed. But this was the first time such a competition had been held. The rules only stated that students couldn't bring their own food to the assembly, not that they couldn't buy it when disembarking. Furthermore, the cafeteria didn't limit the amount of breakfast they could take, so even if they wanted to penalize them, it wouldn't be justifiable. "But isn't this unfair to the students who disembarked first?" Zhang Run continued to be unhappy. Almost all of Zhangrun's students had disembarked last night, having initially thought that more time would give them an advantage. But a torrential downpour had arrived, preventing them from exploring the route and even finding a place to hide. This had left him feeling extremely anxious. Leng Qing was also aware of this, and he could only chuckle at Zhangrun's attempt to drag the others down with him just because his own students were in trouble. Chapter 103 Being Fired. Outside, the rain was pouring down, filling the air with mist. It was impossible to make out anything in the distance. One could only vaguely make out the starship parked near the ruins of an ancient city. Most of the members of the soy sauce team were cheerful and lively, with a bit of a rough nature. They hadn't anticipated rain during the competition, and only 3 of them had brought umbrellas, which was far from enough. After a brief discussion at the stairwell, they decided that 6 of them would go under umbrellas, while the rest would pilot their mechas and explore the ruins. If there were any sheltered structures, they would go inside. Otherwise, they would find a flat surface to pitch their tents. Wu Na and Peng Zhao, not mech operators, naturally walked. Zhu Chen, with the highest rank, spearheaded the exploration. As team leader, Yu Zixin took on the responsibility of protecting the support personnel. Lin Miaomiao, unwilling to get wet, also volunteered to explore the route. Ultimately, Yu Zixin, Shi Yaoqian, Zhang Xingyan, and Zhang Kik stayed behind to protect the support personnel, while the others eagerly boarded their mechas and rushed into the ruins. As they approached the ruins, Lin Miaomiao realized the buildings must be very old, older than any before she'd crossed over. The walls, built of similar-sized stones, were weathered but still standing. Only the gate, perhaps made of wood, had long since decayed and weathered, leaving no trace. Led by Zhu Chen's light mech, the 6 mechas advanced silently through the rain, passing by crumbling brick and tile houses. 10 minutes later, they finally found a mansion that hadn't completely collapsed. The mansion covered a large area, its walls constructed of brick, surprisingly strong, with only a small portion crumbling. Zhu Chen did not rush in, but controlled the mecha to stop and said in the team channel, "There are at least more than 30 teams that disembarked before us. It rained heavily last night. It is estimated that many teams have entered the ruins. This mansion may have been occupied." Through the rain, Lin Miaomiao noticed that there were many deep pits on the weedy ground caused by mechas, and there were traces of small laser attacks on the walls, so he corrected, "It's not possible, but it must have been occupied." Liu Kaoyer said in surprise, "Miaomiao, how do you know? This mansion is so big, you don't know if there are people hiding in it." Lin Miaomiao frowned. "Most of the houses here are built with flimsy blue bricks, and they are very low, only 3 or 4 stories high. It is obviously an ancient city with underdeveloped technology, but there are traces of laser guns on the wall, which means that a battle took place not long ago." "Oh, I don't know if anyone is out," Liu Kaoyer said excitedly. "If someone is eliminated just after the game starts, that person will be in trouble." Lin Miaomiao was speechless. Is it really okay to gloat over someone else's misfortune? Frankly, Lin Miaomiao was also happy to see this sort of thing. After all, no real casualties would occur, and it was nice to see others suffer. However, Feng Licken said, "Kaoyer, that's not a good thing. Don't get so caught up in watching the fun that you forget to pay attention to your safety and end up getting your alarm shattered." To distinguish between winners and losers, each student's mech cockpit had a small, round alarm, only about 10 centimeters in diameter, made of sturdy tempered glass. If it shattered, the student was out. Of course, if a student encountered danger on the competition field or wished to withdraw, they could have a teammate shatter the alarm. Once it shattered, the accompanying instructor would come and pick them up according to the coordinates automatically transmitted by the alarm. So Feng Licken's words weren't meant to disparage Liu Kaoyer, but rather to genuinely worry that she was too preoccupied with watching the fun to pay attention to her own safety. In response, Liu Kaoyer said, "Don't worry, I'm not that stupid. Besides, even if I'm not paying attention and get eliminated, there's nothing to worry about. We're already members of the Shenai fleet," Lin Miaomiao said seriously. "It's been recorded. It will be submitted to Teacher Yi after the selection round." "Gosh, Miaomiao, you're so rude," Liu Kaoyer protested. Meng Xiaozihu, who had been eavesdropping, couldn't help but ask, "Who is Teacher Yi? Isn't the Shenai fleet responsible for cleaning up the battlefield? Why are you trying to get in there?" Lin Miaomiao was stunned. They were so used to playing around that they had forgotten there were outsiders present today. Fortunately, they didn't reveal anything more. My eldest brother is in the Shinryu fleet. He said they have a new captain and there's a lot of potential there, Lin Miaomiao answered evasively. As for the question of who is teacher Yi, she chose to ignore it. So that's how it is. You two have such a wonderful relationship, Meng Xiaozu sighed casually, though she felt a touch of disapproval. Even with a new captain, it wouldn't be easy to develop a successful relationship. Even if siblings were close, they couldn't afford to jeopardize their futures. And Liu Gaoer, from what they heard, was also planning to join the Shenyu fleet. Who knew which fleet Chief Zhu was planning to join? It had to be a major fleet like Xingyao. Lin Miaomiao had no idea Meng Xiaozu had branched out. Realizing there were unfamiliar people in the group, they all became wary and stopped joking. Carefully maneuvering their mechas through several moon gates, they arrived at a complete courtyard in the center of the mansion. Just as Lin Miaomiao was about to suggest folding up the mechas and scaling the wall from a hidden corner to investigate, a level 3 mech swooped down from a dense tree and unleashed an attack on Meng Xiaozu's mech's alarm. Be careful, Lin Miaomiao shouted. Meng Xiaozu seemed frozen in fear, not even trying to dodge. Fortunately, Zhu Chen, standing in front of her, pulled her mech away in time. Thank you, Chief Zhu. You're such a good person, Meng Xiaozu thanked him sweetly, her voice, 80% sugary. Zhu Chen didn't reply, but Lin Miaomiao couldn't help but shiver. Oh my god, this girl had been speaking normally just now, but why was she so sweet to Zhu Chen? Could she have some ulterior motive? After a moment of wondering thoughts, Lin Miaomiao had no time to explore Meng Xiaozu's thoughts, because 20 or 30 mechas suddenly emerged from the courtyard and engaged the casualty squad. Wow, are we being targeted? Liu Kao's voice betrayed no fear. Feng Liken said irritably, focus on the battle. So much nonsense. Aren't you afraid of being kicked out on the first day and making a fool of yourself? Liu Kao was immediately silenced. Being a member of the elite class seemed glorious, but the pressure was immense. If they were sent home in disgrace on the first day, even Jin Hao, the class teacher, would probably cry. Lin Miaomiao had not been paying attention to the team frequency for a long time. She had been entangled by 3 mechas, 2 level 2 attack mechas and 1 level 3 light mecha. The light mecha rarely attacked, but just wandered around Lin Miaomiao. The occasional attacks were directed at the alarm on Lin Miaomiao's mecha cabin. Chapter 104 Counterattack. Lin Miaomiao's mech was also a light mech. The mechas in the competition were all low-level intelligent. Aside from their different orientations, mechas of the same type were all equipped identically. Being all level 3, Lin Miaomiao wasn't afraid of sneak attacks. While dodging, she prepared to deal with the 2 level 2 mechas first. After a few moves, Lin Miaomiao knew her current opponent wasn't a classmate. After all, after years of studying together, everyone's fighting patterns were well known. While the 3 men before her were attacking her together, they didn't seem to be coordinating. With this in mind, Lin Miaomiao stopped dodging and instead attacked while dodging. Her primary target was the red level 2 mech, as its movements were somewhat sluggish, and its 2 moves didn't connect properly, offering a good opportunity to break through. After dodging the laser barrage from the level 3 mechas with a backflip, Lin Miaomiao suddenly launched herself into the air. Perhaps to conserve energy cards, no one else chose to engage in mid-air combat, making her move quite conspicuous. However, she paid no mind. Taking advantage of the red mech's inability to react, she dispatched it with her most powerful ion cannon. Lin Miaomiao's action was a signal, and soon Zhu Chen dispatched 2 mechas as well. The other members of the supplementary squad also launched into the air, showing no sign of saving energy. Chief Zhu, help me, Meng Xiaozu screamed over the team chat. Lin Miaomiao, distracted by the battle, glanced over and was immediately embarrassed. Was this girl crazy? Zhu Chen was surrounded by 3 or 4 mechas, and they were quite far away, while she was right next to her. Why would she go so far away? Zhu Chen likely shared the same thought, so he didn't break out to rescue Meng Xiaozu. Instead, he said in a deep voice, Miaomiao, save her. Given Lin Miaomiao's personality, she would have been willing to take this opportunity to eliminate Meng Xiaozu. After all, she had a rather eccentric personality. It seemed as if she only had eyes for Zhu Chen, rarely paying attention to the other team members, even Zhang Qi, who had brought her into the team. However, since Zhu Chen had spoken, Lin Miaomiao couldn't pretend to be oblivious. She reluctantly kicked aside the second-level mech that was following her and ran to rescue Meng Xiaozu. The mechas besieging Meng Xiaozu were all second-level mechas, likely because she was the lowest-level member of the supporting cast and wanted to eliminate her. Lin Miaomiao helped Meng Xiaozu escape, but she herself found herself surrounded by 4 or 5 mechas. She didn't dare to think about clearing them out, instead utilizing her light mecha's strengths to swiftly maneuver through the encirclement. Looking over at Meng Xiaozu, she'd abandoned her and flown towards Zhu Chen, instantly irritating her. Wow, pretty quick. It's not even 9 o'clock yet and someone's already eliminated, and more than one. Jin Hao's voice suddenly gloated. Stop talking nonsense. Unlock them and get them out, another male voice urged impatiently. A mecha with a shattered alarm would be immediately locked, and the mecha operator could no longer control it, forcing them to wait for the teacher to unlock and escort them out. Jin Hao chuckled, all the students from your class are eliminated. Are you anxious? Lin Miaomiao blushed. It looked like they were supposed to be there to remove the eliminated students, but Teacher Jin was being so unkind, poking at their sore spots. After unlocking the door, Jin Hao didn't rush to lead the eliminated students away. Instead, he said maliciously to another teacher, Zhang Run, the fighting's still going on here. I'll probably have to come over soon. Let's just wait here for the outcome, Zhang Run said angrily. Wait? Who knows whose student will be eliminated next? Zhang Run said this, but inwardly he was cursing his own students. These idiots knew that most level 4 mecha operators were from the elite class, but they relied on their numbers to defeat them. They didn't expect to be defeated in return. If they didn't retreat, it would be even worse. Fortunately, the captains weren't completely foolish. After Zhu Chen eliminated 2 more people and their side hadn't gained any advantage, they finally gave the order to retreat. As they retreated, Zhu Chen didn't plan to pursue them. They were all from the same school, so he should show some mercy when he could. Didn't he see that the homeroom teacher was watching? Lin Miaomiao, Liu Galia, and the others tacitly agreed with Zhu Chen's approach. Only Meng Xiaozu was dissatisfied. Why don't you press on and pursue the enemy? Every time you kill one more person, you'll earn a lot more points. Everyone had witnessed Meng Xiaozu's performance, but they ignored her words and discussed whether to continue into the courtyard or find another location. Zhu Chen agreed with finding another location. Since the group had retreated inside, he presumably knew that the ones left behind to provide support were the more powerful mecha operators. He had just finished a battle and had no intention of re-entering the battle. Meng Xiaozu, who was ignored by everyone, came out again to show her presence. Chief Zhu, you are so powerful. No matter how many powerful people are inside, they can't do anything to you. You'd better fight your way in. Liu Kaoyer finally couldn't help but said sarcastically, Zhu Chen is just one person. How dare he advance with a pig teammate who is dragging his feet? Who are you calling a pig teammate? Meng Xiaozu is not polite to Liu Galia. You are just one level higher than me, and you are not qualified to point fingers at me. Liu Kaoyer sneered. We don't have the time to point fingers at you. If it weren't for our Miaomiao, someone would have been eliminated long ago. But someone is an ungrateful person. He saved her without even a word of thanks and ran away in the encirclement, leaving Miaomiao behind. You? Meng Xiaozu was furious, but the facts were just as Liu Kaoyer said. She couldn't refute it, so she could only act coquettishly for help. Chief Zhu, look, they all bully me. Zhu Chen remained silent, but Lin Miaomiao felt quite wronged. She hadn't spoken a word, yet she was accused of bullying. If she didn't confirm it, she'd be doing herself a disservice. So, Lin Miaomiao said indifferently, Kaoyer, stop talking. Since she doesn't appreciate it, we'll just mind our own business from now on. Let her wait for Zhu Chen to rescue her. Liu Kaoyer laughed heartily. Great, it's settled then. Meng Xiaozu, furious, burst into tears on the team chat, but the others unanimously ignored her. Regardless of Meng Xiaozu's agreement, everyone piloted their mechas to other courtyards. They engaged in 2 more small battles along the way. Each one brief and frustrating, with no one eliminated. As they neared the end of the entire mansion, they finally found an empty courtyard barely habitable. Let's stay here for now and wait until the rain stops before heading out, Zhu Chen decided. He then added, Miaomiao, come with me to the door to meet Zixin and the others. The rest of you will clean up. Liu Galia, Fang Liken, and another girl, Li Jiaqi, agreed. Meng Xiaozu objected but didn't dare to speak up. She could only secretly resent Lin Miaomiao for following them. Lin Miaomiao, even lying down, was caught on the crossfire. Girl, don't you know Chief Zhu has a boyfriend? Chapter 105 Taking Sides. Yu Zixin and his 6 companions were almost at the mansion. Lin Miaomiao and the others waited only a few minutes at the gate before they saw 4 mechas approaching in a triangle formation. Lin Miaomiao noticed the middle mecha, each holding a person holding an umbrella, and immediately thought it was a brilliant idea. If she had thought of it earlier, she wouldn't have needed to split up. Perhaps because the team at the mansion had witnessed Zhu Chen's prowess, their re-entry went smoothly, with no one attacking them. Returning to their small courtyard, Lin Miaomiao discovered that Liu Gadier and the others had already cleared the main hall and 2 rooms. Yu Zixin dismounted his mecha and took a stroll around, praising him. I didn't expect these rooms to be so well preserved. They're full of antique charm. It feels like stepping back in time. Lin Miaomiao was about to tease him about his artistic talents when Meng Xiaozu, who had disappeared just before, returned. Yu Zixin's expression changed slightly. He must have just listened in on the team chat and figured out Meng Xiaozu was coveting Zhu Chen. Lin Miaomiao was secretly delighted, fearing that this little piglet was about to get into trouble. Unfortunately, Meng Xiaozu didn't know what Lin Miaomiao was thinking. The moment she entered, she went straight to Zhang Keek and rudely yelled, Zhang Keek, look at the team members you've chosen. They're always bullying. Zhang Keek's face fell. It's not like I'm recruiting you. If my aunt hadn't told me you were on a hunger strike because you couldn't get into the supporting squad and begged me to take you in, I wouldn't have agreed to take you in. Wow, there's more to this story. Lin Miaomiao and the others immediately became gossipy and gathered around to watch. Zhang Keek, you're talking nonsense, Meng Xiaozu said, feeling a little embarrassed. She just wanted to vent her anger on Zhang Keek, but she hadn't expected the usually soft-hearted Zhang Keek to reveal her secrets. Zhang Keek pursed her lips and said, let's see if that's nonsense. She then revealed the whole story behind Meng Xiaozu's invitation to join the team. It turned out that Meng Xiaozu and Zhang Keek were cousins. Meng Xiaozu had heard from her mother that Zhang Keek had joined the team of Zhu Chen, the head of her grade. She approached Zhang Keek and asked to join, but she flatly refused. Unwilling to accept, Meng Xiaozu went on a hunger strike after returning home, prompting her mother to come to Zhang Keek in tears. Her aunt's pleading left Zhang Keek helpless. Recalling Lin Miaomiao's words when she invited her to join the team, she brazenly approached Lin Miaomiao about her invitation. Lin Miaomiao didn't even ask why, simply stating that there were 2 open spots. Zhang Keek, a cheeky girl, had already set a precedent, so she simply dragged her good friend Li Jiaqi into the mix. After all, her friend was also a level 3 mecha pilot. If she hadn't been so busy working to make ends meet and hadn't had time for friends, she'd have found a team. While Zhang Keek was narrating, Meng Xiaozu tried to interrupt her several times, but was ignored gorgeously every time. Seeing her embarrassing story being made public, Meng Xiaozu stomped her feet in anger and yelled at Zhang Keek, I knew it, you have always been against me since you were a child, Zhang Keek said with a wooden face. You have been stepping on the heads of other brothers and sisters for your own comfort, but have you ever thought about how we feel? I haven't, Meng Xiaozu screamed. Zhang Keek sneered, you know whether you did or not. Anyway, you've already embarrassed yourself in front of everyone today. Do you want me to tell you about your other great achievements? For example, my family lives well, but I'm forced to work to make ends meet. Meng Xiaozu's face turned pale, fearing that Zhang Keek would actually tell her about it. She rushed towards Zhang Keek, yelling, I'll rip your mouth off today if you let me smear you. Zhang Keek's lip hurt from the twisting of her cousin's hand. Remembering how Meng Xiaozu had always used self-harm to force adults to compromise, and how she and her cousin suffered in the end, Zhang Keek felt so angry that she couldn't help but fight back. The 2 cousins started to fight, punching and kicking each other, completely disregarding the surroundings. Everyone was stunned. This was definitely the beginning of a sisterly quarrel. Should they watch the fight or intervene? Everyone hesitated. At this time, Yu Zixin suddenly shouted, quickly pull them apart, the competition is monitored by satellite positioning. If the teacher sees them fighting, their points will be deducted. As he spoke, Yu Zixin had already rushed over to separate the 2, but Lin Miaomiao felt that he was biased. For example, when Zhang Keek kicked Meng Xiaozu, he didn't have time to hold her back, but when Meng Xiaozu's fist just swung out, he held it back in time. Lin Miaomiao was silent. Is this definitely not a personal vendetta? Yu Zixin's little movements can be noticed by those who are familiar with him. Then Liu Kao also excitedly rushed over to separate the two, and shouted very professionally, "Everyone, don't be impulsive. Let's talk it out." "Ouch, Meng Xiaozu, why are you hitting me?" "Stop it." With Liu Kao's support, Yu Zixin's biased behavior was completely covered up. It had to be said that Meng Xiaozu was a talented person. She had only been on the team for a few days and had already offended all of her teammates. Everyone could see that she had been beaten badly, but they were all anxiously shouting for her to stop, but no one actually stepped forward to stop her. Lin Miaomiao laughed inwardly for a long time, and when she saw that Meng Xiaozu had been beaten so badly that her face was horrible, she calmly stepped forward and pulled Zhang Keek away. Lin Miaomiao said with a blank face, "It's stupid to affect your future for someone you don't like. Forget it, Keek." Fang Lican also came over and persuaded softly, "You are all in the same team. If you have a conflict with your teammates, it will affect the fleet representative's opinion of you. Since you have endured all the grievances since you were a child, how about enduring it for another half a month?" The anger in her heart was vented, and after being persuaded by Lin Miaomiao and the others, Zhang Keek calmed down, covered her face with her hands, squatted down and cried, "My parents couldn't treat me well since I was a child, otherwise something would happen to her. She either fell into the water when she went out with me, or she got lost inexplicably. Then my parents didn't dare to show that they cared about me, but why? I am their daughter. What qualifications does she, Meng Xiaozu, have to stop my parents from loving me?" Lin Miaomiao was shocked. If Meng Xiaozu traveled to ancient times, she would be an elite in house fighting and palace fighting. It was a waste to be born in the interstellar era. Meng Xiaozu was beaten so badly that her whole body was in pain. But when she heard her cousin scolding her, her face turned pale and blue in an instant. She said almost hatefully, "Zhang Keek, you are so good. You are slandering me here." "Wait until the game is over," Zhang Keek interrupted her with red eyes, "I'm not afraid. Anyway, no matter what you do this time, it's up to you. I will not compromise again. At worst, we will all die together." Meng Xiaozu was stunned. Chapter 106, Playing Tricks. They'd assumed it was just a minor issue between the cousins, a fight to blow off steam, and the other members of the showy sauce team hadn't taken the fight seriously. But now that Zhang Keek had said something like that, everyone felt something was amiss. Li Jiaqi, Zhang Keek's friend, immediately rushed forward, hugged her, and begged, "Zhang Keek, what nonsense are you talking about? How can you just say something like that, Jiaqi? I can't help it. A few days ago, I refused to take her into the team. My aunt said she was going on a hunger strike and begged me for help, but I'm tired too." Zhang Keek hugged Li Jiaqi and burst into tears. Lin Miaomiao frowned as well. Although she didn't spend much time with Zhang Keek, she knew she had a cheerful personality, but she hadn't expected her to say such things. She turned to look at Meng Xiaozu, only to find her glaring at Zhang Keek with a malicious look, which only made her even more displeased. "Okay, stop arguing," Yu Zixin suddenly shouted. "If you are too idle, go out and wash your mecha. Didn't you fight several times just now? Your mecha should be dirty, right?" The hall suddenly became quiet. Even Zhang Keek stopped crying, wiped her face and said, "Captain, if you don't go out now, I'll go and rest for a while." "You go," Yu Zixin agreed, and said to Li Jiaqi, "You go with her." Zhang Keek's desperate words just now scared everyone. Yu Zixin was afraid that she would feel uncomfortable staying alone, so he asked her good friend Li Jiaqi to accompany her. Lin Miaomiao watched Zhang Keek and the other person go into the room, and saw Meng Xiaozu's high chin, and felt very uncomfortable. After thinking for a while, she said, "I'll go out for a walk and see how many teams are in this house. Isn't it a bit dangerous to go alone?" Yu Zixin finally had the consciousness of a captain and began to think about the team's affairs. "How about letting Zuchen go out with you?" "No," Lin Miaomiao refused without thinking. "With Zuchen here, no team dares to come out and cause trouble, so how can we detect you if there is any team? The mecha equipped by the school does not have advanced detection functions. If it did, it would only take minutes to detect whether there is anyone in the house." "Then don't go out," Yu Zixin said immediately. "I'm worried about you being alone." Lin Miaomiao glanced at Meng Xiaozu next to her and said nonchalantly, "Then I'll take her out." Yu Zixin was stunned, but Meng Xiaozu had already screamed, "No, I won't do such a dangerous thing. What are you arguing about?" "Shut up," Yu Zixin glared at her unhappily. Although he didn't agree with Miaomiao taking her out, her attitude was too unreasonable. Zuchen suddenly interrupted, I agree. Miaomiao takes her out, and I can secretly follow behind to protect her. Meng Xiaozu's eyes lit up, and she looked at Zhu Chen affectionately, and said delicately, really? Then I'll reluctantly follow her to take a look. She is really a complete nympho, Lin Miaomiao thought, but she didn't care about her reluctance. As long as she is willing to go out, it's fine. No one wanted to rank too high, so it shouldn't matter if there is one less person, right? The rain outside had eased considerably. Lin Miaomiao summoned her mech and swiftly prepared to leave. Meng Xiaozu, however, still lingered, gazing at Zhu Chen. Annoyed, Lin Miaomiao turned on the external speaker and shouted, Meng Xiaozu. You've never seen a man before. Hurry up, Meng Xiaozu gritted her teeth, wanting to retort, but then she remembered that Lin Miaomiao seemed to have considerable influence within the team and a strong background. If she offended her, she would face a difficult time ahead. Unhappy, she boarded the mech. Frustrated, Meng Xiaozu didn't follow Lin Miaomiao, but instead rushed out, hoping to have someone else clear her out if she had the chance. Lin Miaomiao's eyes flickered, and she followed Meng Xiaozu at a leisurely pace. She had been trying to figure out how to get Meng Xiaozu to go first, but it turned out she didn't need to. She simply hoped Meng Xiaozu wouldn't cry too much later. The private chat channel flickered, and after Lin Miaomiao connected, she heard Zhu Chen's voice. We'll find a way to get Meng Xiaozu to the first courtyard up ahead. There's a lot of people there. Lin Miaomiao was embarrassed. It seemed she wasn't the only one with this evil intention. No wonder Zhu Chen had volunteered to protect her from behind. It was normal to be unable to protect two people when there were so many opponents, wasn't it? I see, Lin Miaomiao replied. We'll see. A level 2 mech looks easy to pick off. Someone's going to attack soon. A lone level 2 or level 3 mech was indeed a potential enemy draw. Lin Miaomiao had only exchanged a few words with Zhu Chen before Meng Xiaozu was in trouble. The troublemakers were 3 level 3 mechas. As soon as they emerged, they flipped over Meng Xiaozu's mech. Meng Xiaozu screamed in the team chat, Zhu Chen, come save me, are you full of straw? You're calling for Zhu Chen's help the moment you emerge, Lin Miaomiao said venomously. Even though she had a sharp tongue, it would have been too obvious to ignore her in this situation. Lin Miaomiao fired at an attacking mecha, which immediately took off. Lin Miaomiao followed without hesitation. Meng Xiaozu was still yelling, why don't you take these two away? Chief Zhu, save me, just be patient, Zhu Chen instructed in a gentle tone. Don't attack. Just increase your speed to the maximum and avoid the main attacks. I'll come to rescue you after Miaomiao finishes it. Why do you want her to rescue you? Meng Xiaozu was unhappy. She had no good feelings towards Lin Miaomiao. By this time, Lin Miaomiao had already dealt with her opponent and was about to turn back to rescue him. Hearing this, he said coldly, since you don't want me to rescue you, then handle it yourself. After saying this, he stopped a short distance away to watch the fun. Meng Xiaozu was immediately furious and stared blankly. Wanting Zhu Chen to rescue her was one thing, but if Lin Miaomiao really didn't, that was another. Meng Xiaozu was furious and anxious, but she didn't want to bow down to Lin Miaomiao. Fortunately, the 2 level 3 mechas retreated decisively upon seeing Lin Miaomiao approach. After all, they defeated mechas of the same level in such a short time, which spoke volumes about their strength. Since they've retreated, let's continue exploring, Lin Miaomiao urged calmly. Hurry up and don't waste time. Meng Xiaozu, however, refused to move forward and unhappily asked Lin Miaomiao to lead the way, figuring she'd be surrounded and she wouldn't help. Unexpectedly, this played into Lin Miaomiao's hands, and she immediately charged forward. Unlike Meng Xiaozu, Lin Miaomiao led the way, but unlike her wandering around, she headed straight for the first courtyard. Several other teams launched probing attacks along the way, but were driven off by Lin Miaomiao's powerful counterattacks. Seeing that Lin Miaomiao had led the way without suffering any loss, while she had only been able to call for help, Meng Xiaozu felt a surge of discontent. Chapter 107 Meng Xiaozu is out. After approaching the first yard, the teams inside were silent. Lin Miaomiao deliberately wandered around the door, pretending to want to go in, but no one stopped her. After thinking about it, Lin Miaomiao simply walked in. Meng Xiaozu refused to go in when she saw it, and yelled in the team channel, are you crazy? There are several teams in here, anyway, if she can't beat them, she can escape. With her skills, She can also escape, Lin Miaomiao thought to herself, but said in a high-sounding manner, none of their teams can beat us. Maybe they have moved away for a fear of retaliation. Then you go in, I'll wait for you outside. Meng Xiaozu made up her mind. If there was really no one inside, she was also a scouting person and could have a credit. If there was someone, it would be better if Lin Miaomiao was out, so there would be one less person against her. Then wait here, Lin Miaomiao said, not caring about Meng Xiaozu's plans. As soon as she entered the courtyard, 7 or 8 mechas attacked her. Fortunately, she was prepared and dodged most of the attacks with a roll on the spot. Outside, Meng Xiaozu was having a rough time too. Almost as soon as Lin Miaomiao entered the courtyard, 6 mechas surrounded her. In her panic, Meng Xiaozu forgot to even run away, only to call for help on the team channel. Unfortunately, although Meng Xiaozu's call for help was quick, the others attacked even faster. It would be strange if she didn't hit the target standing there. As Zhu Chen responded, coming right up, the alarm on her mecha's cabin was shattered. Zhu Chen pretended to be surprised and shouted, Meng Xiaozu, why are you standing there and getting beaten? The moment the alarm shattered, Meng Xiaozu's heart sank a little. Although she could not control the mecha at this time, she could still speak in the team channel, so she screamed, Lin Miaomiao, it's all your fault. You rushed in knowing that there were many people in here. You must have done it on purpose. I want to complain to you. Lin Miaomiao was besieged by so many people. Even if she ran away as fast as she could, she was hit several times. The right arm of the mecha was a little inflexible. Despite this, she still found the time to retort, you didn't come in, I came in, but I'm still here. Although the people who stayed in the yard didn't know the situation on their side, they understood a little bit after hearing their words. Those who were familiar with Lin Miaomiao twitched their mouths. No wonder Miaomiao took the initiative to say that she would take Meng Xiaozu out to explore the way. No one was willing to speak up for Meng Xiaozu. Liu Kao even taunted her, you don't want to go in, but you're running away when they attack you. Standing there like a target? How did you even get to be a second-level mecha master, Kair? Stop it. She didn't mean to do that, Fang Licken said gently. Did the teacher say that newbies with insufficient combat experience are prone to failing? They'll be fine once they gain more experience. Well, these words sounded like they were trying to excuse Meng Xiaozu, but they also stigmatized her as inexperienced. She'd become a second-level mecha master, yet still had no experience. Did she even train regularly? At this point, Meng Xiaozu understood that everyone was targeting her again. She immediately fell silent, but she internally resented everyone who had spoken out. Lin Miaomiao was the culprit behind her dismissal, and she resolved to complain to her homeroom teacher after she left. As for Zhu Chen, since Meng Xiaozu had a secret crush on him, she didn't hold a grudge against him. Instead, she wondered if she could use the incident of not being able to rescue him to establish a connection. Meng Xiaozu believed Zhu Chen would surely feel guilty for not being able to save her. If she simply said it was okay, Zhu Chen would notice her kindness. Before the team leader arrived, Meng Xiaozu clicked on Zhu Chen's private chat and left a sweet message. Zhu Chen, although I'm a little disappointed I can't compete with you, I don't blame you. Time was running out just now, and it's normal you couldn't save me. Having expressed her feelings, Meng Xiaozu patiently waited for Zhu Chen's reply, fondly thinking she might take the opportunity to get his contact number. However, upon hearing the message, Zhu Chen said he was busy, having to rescue Lin Miaomiao, who was trapped, and didn't have time to reply. Lin Miaomiao was now in an unprecedented crisis. The 6 mechas that had attacked Meng Xiaozu hadn't returned after their successful attack, but instead attacked her again. Surrounded by over a dozen mechas, Lin Miaomiao couldn't help but smile bitterly. This time, she was in big trouble. No matter how she dodged, she would be hit. Fortunately, Zhu Chen quickly rushed in and activated his laser scattering, disrupting the mecha's movement. Lin Miaomiao seized the opportunity to unleash an ion cannon attack and break free. After leaving the encirclement, the two men didn't hesitate to fight, but instead sped out of the courtyard, completely ignoring the attacks behind them. As long as they didn't get their alarms blasted, it wouldn't matter. Don't just go back, Zhu Chen said. Lure them in a more populated courtyard. Without a word, Lin Miaomiao rushed towards the courtyard where the mechas had been detected, and the people there immediately mobilized their forces to defend against them. Seeing Lin Miaomiao's familiar approach, The pursuers assumed they had reached their base and attacked without hesitation. After the exchange of blows, Lin Miaomiao and the other two exchanged a few fake blows before stealthily fleeing in the chaos. In good spirits, the two returned to their temporary compound. Fleet representatives and teachers, watching the live broadcast from the starship, had watched the entire melee, praising the two for their decision-making and courage. Only Zhang Run and another teacher had dark faces. Their students had been tricked, and how could they be happy? Jin Hao was amazed. These young people are too impulsive. Just a little observation would have noticed something was wrong, but they just took action without saying a word. Zhang Run glanced at him and said in a gloomy tone, "It's nothing I can do. The students I teach are all too upright, unlike someone who taught students who are just as insidious as him." Jin Hao didn't mind being accused of being insidious to his face. He only sighed, "It's hard to be a good person. Didn't the ancients say that good people don't live long?" Zhang Run stood up and left with a gloomy face. The competition had just started and more than 10 people in their class had been eliminated. It was all related to those people in the elite class. If he stayed here any longer, he would be tempted to beat someone up. Jin Hao stood up with a smile. "Hey, you are going to pick up some people. Your car can't accommodate so many people who are eliminated, so I'd better go with you." Zhang Run paused and said with gritted teeth, "Don't bother Teacher Jin. This is my responsibility. I can do it myself." Jin Hao didn't care about being rejected, and turned to another teacher who was also going to pick someone up. "Old Qi, do you want to help?" "No." Qi's Guy politely refused. He was not as excited as Zhang Run. In his opinion, the students in the class were tricked and eliminated because of their own carelessness, and they could not blame others. It is better to learn a lesson now than to suffer losses and be deceived in the battlefield in the future. Chapter 108 Preparing to march forward in the rain. Lin Miaomiao, who returned to the courtyard, shouted in a very good mood, "Everyone come out for dinner," except for Xiaoqian who was on guard in the courtyard. Everyone else came out of the rest room. They didn't care that one person was missing, and they all rolled their eyes at Lin Miaomiao and said, "There are only nutritional supplements for lunch. Do we have to gather together to eat such disgusting food?" "Who said there are only nutritional supplements?" Lin Miaomiao said arrogantly. "I have big white steamed buns here. Whoever doesn't want to eat can go back to sleep." Everyone was surprised. "Where are the steamed buns?" Then they saw Lin Miaomiao take out steamed buns, meat buns, side dishes and milk from the space button. Everyone was a little injured, and the preparations were really complete. Yuzixin grabbed a meat bun and took a bite, mumbling as he ate, "So you pack so much for breakfast? No wonder those breakfast counters sold out early." Lin Miaomiao said innocently, "It's none of my business. I only pack so much. Some teams packed hundreds of steamed buns, then why don't you pack more?" Liu Kavier grabbed a sip of milk, "So we don't have to worry about finding food later." The others nodded in agreement. Who knew the food in this place was good? Lin Miaomiao was speechless. "You guys are stupid. It's so hot, and there's no safe. The food will go bad in a day. It's a waste to pack too much." Everyone thought it was true, so they stopped talking and focused on eating lunch. After Zhang Xingyan finished eating, he spontaneously went out to exchange with Xiaoqian, while Lin Miaomiao picked up a few meat buns and took 2 cartons of milk and went into the room where Zhang Qi was resting. As soon as she entered the room, Lin Miaomiao saw Zhang Qi sitting on the ground with lifeless eyes against the wall, wondering what she was thinking about, while Li Jiaqi was dozing off beside her. The house here could shelter her from the wind and rain, but the furniture inside had long since turned to ashes, so they could only sit directly on the ground with a piece of cloth as a cushion. Lin Miaomiao woke Li Jiaqi up, stuffed 3 buns and a box of milk into each of them, and motioned for them to have lunch. Li Jiaqi was hungry, so she ate without asking where the food came from, but Zhang Qi shook her head and said she didn't want to eat. Lin Miaomiao said impatiently, "Eat quickly if I tell you to. What if you have to go out later and you don't have the strength to drive the mecha?" Having said that, Zhang Qi could only eat in small bites. If she affected everyone's actions, she would become a sinner. Watching Zhang Qi finish her meal, Lin Miaomiao nodded in satisfaction. She told them to pack up and go to the living room before leaving. Before leaving, she said nonchalantly, "By the way, you might not know yet, but classmate Meng and I just went out to explore the route, and unfortunately, she got eliminated." Zhang Qi was stunned. After a long moment, Li Jiaqi muttered to herself, "Is this the difference between students in the elite class and the regular class? We just sulk, While they just eliminate us, Li Jiaqi would never believe that Meng Xiaozu's elimination had nothing to do with Lin Miaomiao. Otherwise, why didn't she call anyone else to explore the route, but instead brought the disliked Meng Xiaozu? Zhang Keep was the happiest person to hear the news. Meng Xiaozu had been scheming since she was a child. She must have been furious after suffering such a big loss this time. Zhang Keep smiled a little. In the hall, everyone sat cross-legged on the floor, with Yu Zixin at the center, as if preparing for a meeting. However, Lin Miaomiao, noticing the steady drizzle outside with no signs of slowing down, decided it was time to wait any longer and asked Yu Zixin to convene a meeting to discuss the next steps. Once everyone was present, Yu Zixin declared the meeting open. As team leader, Yu Zixin spoke first. The rain hasn't stopped. Miaomiao, Zhu Chen, and I have decided to brave the rain, but we need to ask everyone's opinion on whether to remain in the ruins or venture out into the forest. That's up to you guys to decide. I'll just be creating cards, Wu Na said, pulling out a stack of empty cards to indicate her busy schedule. Although it was only the first day, they had already battled against many teams. Wu Na had already been busy creating cards, but unfortunately, creating cards require time and mental effort. After over an hour, she had only managed to create 3 level 2 energy cards, not even replenishing the energy they had previously expended. Thinking of the few empty cards the teacher had given her, Wu Na felt a little worried. What if they weren't enough? She put down her work and prepared to remind the captain to conserve their energy. Then she saw Lin Miaomiao pull a backpack from the space button, unzip it, and pull out a large bag of level 2 cards, stuffing it into her hand. Aren't you not allowed to bring it? Wu Na's voice was a little dazed. What if she was discovered? The rules say that students in the card-making department can't bring it, but I'm from the mecha department, Lin Miaomiao replied calmly. Wu Na. Yu Zixin was curious. Did Miaomiao bring anything else? No, Lin Miaomiao replied. But Yu Zixin didn't believe it. How could that be? You're so good at exploiting the rules, you must have something good you didn't bring out. Lin Miaomiao glared at him fiercely. I only have such a small backpack. How much can I fit in it? That was true. Yu Zixin could only look at the backpack with regret. Back to the point, Wu Na gave up her right to speak, and Peng Xiao followed suit, saying that Lin Miaomiao's mecha needed repairs and he had to go get busy. Zhang Keq and Li Jiaqi chose to sit in, leaving only 7 people in the meeting. Of these 7, Shi Aoqian and Zhuang Xingyan suggested exploring the ruins, as the ancient city had a long history and might reveal something of research value. Yu Zixin, however, thought the ruins were crowded and unnecessary, and that it would be better to explore the forest to see if there were any unusual flora or fauna. The remaining 4 voted by show of hands. Zhu Chen naturally sided with Yu Zixin. Feng Liqin, disliking the muddy mountains on rainy days, chose to remain in the ruins. Liu Kaoyer and Lin Miaomiao favored the forest. Liu Kaoyer said, there's nothing to eat in the ruins. We need to go to the forest to avoid starving after we run out of nutrients. That's right, Lin Miaomiao agreed. Besides, there are so many people in the ruins. If we run into each other, we'll inevitably have to fight, and we won't have enough energy cards. No matter how fast Wu Na made cards or how high her quality was, she was only a level 2 card maker. If she used up too much energy quickly, she wouldn't be able to supply it. With 3 votes against 4, the forest side won completely. Zhuang Xingyan muttered in dissatisfaction, that's unfair. There are still 4 people who haven't voted yet. They just didn't express their opinions, but they didn't say they wouldn't participate. Yu Zixin thought for a moment and said generously, then let's hear their decision. Zhang Keq said decisively, I choose the forest. Second, Li Jiaqi, Wu Na, and Peng Xiao said without hesitation. Zhuang Xingyan was embarrassed. It would be better if they didn't vote. The result would be even more tragic. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109 Entering the Forest. Yu Zixin expressed satisfaction with the outcome and said, since everyone supports my decision so much, let's have a spontaneous race. No, Lin Miaomiao firmly objected. Yu Zixin was upset. Miaomiao, why are you like that? As a good friend, shouldn't you support my decision? Lin Miaomiao glanced at her unfinished mech and remained silent. Yuzixin felt awkward. He hadn't been ignoring the unfinished mech on purpose. Half an hour later, Peng Zhao finished work, and Wu Na, having exhausted her mental energy and ready to rest, finally set off. Before leaving the city, the two support personnel remained seated in Yuzixin's mech, while the others operated their mechas and surrounded Yuzixin to prevent any sneak attacks. After successfully exiting the city, Yuzixin dropped Peng Zhao and Wu Na off. From then on, he only needed one person to operate the mech and keep watch while everyone else dismounted to conserve energy. There were many people who didn't want to walk in the rain, but in the end it was Lin Miaomiao who received the alert mission, because she didn't participate in the scramble for the mission out of modesty, and because she was the youngest. Yuzixin gave the mission to her for the sake of fairness. Sitting comfortably in the mecha, Lin Miaomiao suddenly felt that the old saying when the snipe and the clam quarrel, the fisherman gains was very reasonable. However, since she had accepted the mission, she had to do what she had to do. Number 6708, turn on the scanning system. If there is any danger within a radius of 2 miles, report it immediately. Pay attention to whether there are any animals or plants around that you have never seen or that are edible. Lin Miaomiao gave an order to the mecha. Understood, number 6708 replied. Number 6708's voice was an ordinary electronic synthesized voice, which sounded a little uncomfortable, which made Lin Miaomiao miss Aoxa's tender girlish voice very much. The team slowly entered the forest, shielded from the rain by the canopy of trees. Lin Miaomiao, piloting the mech, led the way. Soon, she felt the forest was eerily quiet. There were no birds singing, no insects chirping, and not even the sound of rabbits or other animals. The grass was dense, almost a meter high. The members of the soy sauce group had never seen such tall grass. To save everyone's effort, Lin Miaomiao had to abandon her aerial route and instead trampled a path for them. Liu Kaoyer glanced around and noticed that while the trees were a bit sparsely distributed, each one had a massive trunk. Some were so hollowed out they could serve as houses. She couldn't help but exclaim, "These trees are quite long-lived." Lin Miaomiao took a closer look and thought Liu Kaoyer was right. She couldn't even recognize the trees here, but if number 6708 hadn't pointed them out, they probably weren't rare species. After walking for more than 10 kilometers, they still found nothing. Everyone who was walking was tired, and Liu Kaoyer even sat down on the grass and refused to move. "Miaomiao," Yuzixin shouted, "see if there is any water source nearby." "We are all thirsty," Lin Miaomiao responded and asked number 6708 to search for the nearest water source. This time their luck was good. Number 6708 quickly sent out the coordinates and distance. There is a stream 2 kilometers to the north, and a spring 3 kilometers to the southeast. Lin Miaomiao turned on the external speaker and read out the results. "It's so far." Liu Kaoyer said, wanting to cry, "I want to drink water, but I don't want to walk. What should I do?" Yuzixin selectively ignored her and asked the others, "Do you want to drink spring water or stream water?" "I want to drink juice," Zhang Xingyuan replied. "Get lost," Yuzixin said grumpily. "You want some juice? It's easy. Take out your mech and smash the alarm. A teacher will take you back for some juice." Zhang Xingyuan grimaced, not daring to say anything more. He obediently chose, "Drink the mountain spring water." Everyone nodded in agreement. Who knew if the stream was clean? Spring water was better. "Then get up and go," Yuzixin urged. "Rest a little longer," Wu Na protested. "I can't walk anymore." Card makers require a lot of mental energy, but their bodies are generally weaker, only slightly better than ordinary people. After walking for over an hour, Wu Na felt completely exhausted. Yuzixin frowned. After drinking the water, he had to find a way to find any small animals nearby. He wouldn't feel confident until he found something edible. After all, the school's nutritional supplements only lasted 3 days. However, Wu Na was a card maker after all, so he had to find a way to conserve her energy and replenish her mental energy. Otherwise, she wouldn't have the energy to create energy cards. Yuzixin quickly made a decision. "Miaomiao, you take her," Lin Miaomiao responded, quickly having number 6708 squat down and place their right hand flat on the ground, facing upwards. After Wu Na climbed up, he stood up and continued on his way. The drizzle had unnoticeably stopped, and the members of the soy sauce team breathed a sigh of relief. Yuzixin even smiled, "We'll reach the spring soon. We'll set up camp there tonight, change our wet clothes, and then look for something to eat nearby." With the captain's words, everyone cheered excitedly, their fatigue seemingly easing, and they set off with more energy. Half an hour later, they found the spring on a moderately steep hill. As expected, Yu Zixin took out his tent and prepared to set up camp. Since their junior year, everyone had experienced extensive training and had stayed in relatively safe mountain areas. Tents were no strangers to them, and they quickly set to work, setting up 2 tents, one large and one small. After changing clothes and drinking water from the spring and washing their faces, everyone regrouped to discuss their next division of labor. Wu Na's role, needless to say, was to continuously produce energy cards, resting when her mental energy was exhausted. She didn't have to do anything else. The remaining 10 people were divided into 3 teams, one to forage for food, another to find soft leaves and grass for beds, and the last to stay behind to protect the camp. However, the remaining group wasn't idle either. They also had a task, to find a large, flat stone nearby to serve as a table. If none existed, they could chop down a tree and make their own. The same went for stools. As the designated cook, Lin Miaomiao chose to forage for ingredients. Coincidentally, number 6708 had also scanned nearby signs of small animal life, as well as some edible wild fruits and non-toxic mushrooms. Ultimately, Lin Miaomiao, Liu Gair, and Feng Liqin were assigned to forage for ingredients. The 3 assigned the task then departed, unconcerned with the rest of the group's responsibilities. The forest after the rain was still filled with thick moisture. Lin Miaomiao took a deep breath and smelled the strong earthy smell in the air. It was not very unpleasant, but instead had a little bit of indescribable freshness. Chapter 110 Meng Xiaozi complains. Just as the soy sauce team began the forest dungeon, Meng Xiaozi, who had been picked up by her homeroom teacher, approached Vice Principal Leng Qing to file a complaint. Curious, Leng Qing asked, "Who are you suing?" Meng Xiaozi struggled for a moment before finally coming up with an answer. "I'm suing everyone in the soy sauce team, except Zhu Chen, for bullying me." Leng Qing's lips twitched. That was a farcical complaint. She was suing 10 teammates at once. 10 people bullying her in just one day. Could it be a gang fight? After some thought, Leng Qing decided to ask for more details. "Meng, please describe how they bullied you. Did they hit you or scold you?" "Both," Meng Xiaozi said angrily. The teachers, eavesdropping, were stunned. How could they not have seen anything? Today was the first day, and there had been numerous clashes between the teams over control of the courtyard. The soy sauce team had fought no fewer than 10 battles, drawing close attention from the teachers and fleet representatives due to their prominence. In fact, everyone knows what happened to Meng Xiaozi. Although the content of the conversation could not be heard, the conflict between Meng Xiaozi and Zheng Qi was very obvious. The one who started the fight was the one who wanted to complain, which gave everyone a bad first impression of her. In addition, the interaction between the members of the soy sauce team was quite warm, and their work was clearly divided and orderly. Only Meng Xiaozi seemed out of place. She was lazy when doing things, and she ignored others who were trying to save her and were surrounded. Will such a selfish person be bullied? Anyway, no one who has seen the surveillance video believes it. So Leng Qing didn't think much of Meng Xiaozi's coming to complain as soon as she was eliminated, and was even more skeptical of Meng Xiaozi's accusation. Mr. Meng, do you have evidence to prove that your teammates beat and scolded you? If not, you will be punished severely for falsely accusing a classmate, Leng Qing said with a warning. Meng Xiaozi hesitated for a moment. She thought about it for a long time. Apart from Zheng Qi, who had a fight with her, everyone else had made small movements when trying to separate them, making it easier for Zheng Qi to hide her. Plus, there was no recording of what Zheng Qi said, and even if it had been recorded, she wouldn't have dared to show it. She was the one who started the fight first, so it turned out that she wasn't the one who should have filed a complaint. That Zheng Qi was really cunning. She actually thought of such a way to retaliate against herself. Meng Xiaozi was furious, but she couldn't insist on what she had just said. She could only say embarrassedly, "I won't sue them for beating and scolding me. I will only sue Lin Miaomiao for deliberately taking me out to explore the way and causing me to be eliminated." Zhang Run, as Meng Xiaozi's relative, also agreed with this matter, so he spoke up to support her. No matter what grudges they have between them, this selection competition is related to classmate Meng's future. They frame their companions for personal reasons. This is not the character of a soldier. Zhang Run had a lot of opinions about this soy sauce team. Whether it was Lin Miaomiao's behavior of packing breakfast or later leading the students in their class into the yard of another team, he couldn't stand it. The reason was that he felt that his students had suffered. Jin Hao knew exactly what Zhang Run was thinking, so as soon as Zhang Run explained his idea, Jin Hao couldn't help laughing. Zhang Run, you are a teacher who should be a role model, but you can't tell right from wrong because too many students in your class were eliminated on the first day. You are talking nonsense, Zhang Run said with veins bulging on his forehead, almost gritting his teeth. How can I not know right from wrong? The mecha technicians in that team are basically all level 3, but they sent a level 2 mecha technician to explore the way. It would be strange if there is no inside story, Jin Hao sneered. Don't give me these empty words, just open the video and let everyone watch it again to see if my students did anything to frame her. Zhang Run was stunned. He had also seen the video. The performance of the level 3 mecha technician named Lin Miaomiao in the video was excellent. Not only did she not do anything tricky, she also saved Meng Xiaozu several times. It was impossible to say that she framed Meng Xiaozu. But thinking about it, he felt unwilling. So many students were eliminated on the first day, and he would miss out on the title of Outstanding Class Teacher this year. Zhang Run turned to Meng Xiaozu and pressed her. Why didn't you go into the courtyard with her to investigate? Did she not want you to go in? Meng Xiaozu's eyes lit up. The teacher's words had finally reminded her, and she nodded hurriedly. She told me to wait outside. Lin Miaomiao had indeed said this, so Meng Xiaozu's answer was justified. In her opinion, she had not lied at all, but simply concealed the fact that waiting outside was her own decision. Zhang Run breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Jin Hao with a smug look. You heard it, didn't you? Lin Miaomiao deliberately left her outside. A second-level mecha technician left alone would definitely be attacked, is that so? Jin Hao said non-committally. But what's the reason? Meng Xiaozu doesn't know my students well. We've only been together for a few days. Is it necessary to target her like this? Of course she does. She knows Zhang Keek very well. She must have been instructed by Zhang Keek, Meng Xiaozu blurted out. That's just your side of the story, right? Jin Hao raised an eyebrow and looked at Zhang Run. Since your students are determined to file a complaint, how do you think this matter will be resolved, Mr. Zhang? Suspend them and allow them to undergo an investigation, Zhang Run said without hesitation. Meng Xiaozu's face lit up instantly at that. As long as the suspensions came out, they wouldn't be able to achieve good results. Thinking of the frustration of those students upon receiving the suspension notice, Meng Xiaozu was delighted. However, how could Jin Hao possibly agree to such a thing? Even Leng Qing found it absurd. No, Leng Qing flatly refused. This is just Meng's one-sided account. We didn't see any inappropriate behavior from Team 67 in the satellite synchronized video feed. Even if we need to investigate, we have to wait until after the game. Meng Xiaozu's illusions were shattered, and she immediately disliked Leng Qing. She felt the vice principal was trying to protect the elite class, and she angrily said, "This isn't fair," Leng Qing said sternly. Meng Xiaozu, fairness isn't just about your words, it has to be based on facts. After the game, if the investigation proves your claims are true, we will severely punish the culprit. However, I must also solemnly warn you, if you falsely accuse your teammates, you will be expelled from the school. You still have a chance to change your statement now. Meng Xiaozu hesitated for a moment, but then a sense of luck took over. After all, she insisted that the facts were what they were, and anyone who testified on the team could be considered an accomplice. So Meng Xiaozu nodded firmly. All right, we'll deal with this matter after the game, Leng Qing said. Meng Xiaozu, please go back. Chapter 111 Natural Vegetable Garden. Lin Miaomiao, of course, was unaware of Meng Xiaozu's complaint. At the moment, she was catching rabbits. Number 6708's intelligence was accurate. The food hunting trio had indeed found small animals nearby. However, they were stunned. Those plump rabbits, considered large in the world before Lin Miaomiao's time travel, pale in comparison to the nearly meter-tall, behemoth rabbits of the interstellar era. The food hunting trio was troubled. Catching such small rabbits with a mecha would squash them flat, but trying to do it themselves was far from their speed. Why was it so difficult to get a bite of meat? Ultimately, the rabbit hunting trio managed to capture over 20 rabbits. This area, always deserted and devoid of large carnivores, had become a near infestation of rabbits. The grass in this area was noticeably less dense and taller than outside, and the rabbits, However, were chubby and sluggish. After catching the rabbits, Lin Miaomiao found another piece of potatoes, but without any tools to dig, it was a hassle to eat them. Fortunately, the ground was damp after the rain, and she could dig a few thick branches to dig. Is this the unprocessed potato? It looks so small. Liu Kanier took a fist-sized potato and looked at it, as if she had seen something rare. Feng Liken also found it incredible. Last time I watched the robot housekeeper cook at home, and the potatoes she peeled were several times bigger than this, almost as big as a human head. These are potatoes, yes, but I suspect that everything on this planet has returned to ancient times, Lin Miaomiao said calmly. It is said that animals and plants thousands of years ago were several times smaller than they are now. It turned out that there was such a saying. This was the first time Liu Kanier and Feng Liken heard of it. In the past, they didn't pay attention to the ingredients. The robot housekeeper cooked them and they just ate them directly. Finding the food interesting for the first time, the two enthusiastically dug up hundreds of pounds of potatoes. Lin Miaomiao reminded them several times that enough was enough, but they refused to stop. Eventually, Lin Miaomiao gave up the reminders. After all, potatoes fill the stomach and are easy to store, so digging more is also a good thing. Lin Miaomiao didn't plan to eat potatoes all day long. Seeing that Liu Kanier and the others had become crazy about digging potatoes, she simply gave up and went to look for other ingredients. It must be said that the forest is truly a natural vegetable garden. After searching for a while, Lin Miaomiao found a few pumpkins, as well as mushrooms, peppers, bitter melon, eggplant and black fungus. In the end, the three of them returned home with a full load. When they returned to the spring, the other two teams had already completed their tasks. Seeing Lin Miaomiao and the other two coming back, Yu Zixin couldn't help complaining that they were too slow. Liu Kanier said unhappily, "If you think it's too slow, go find the ingredients next time." Yu Zixin shut up immediately. He didn't even know which way the kitchen door opened, let alone what the ingredients looked like. He could only hunt to find the ingredients. Although he liked meat very much, there were many female warriors in the team who loved vegetables. Yu Zixin shut up, but Liu Kanier was not willing to let him go. Thinking of the large area of potatoes, she had an idea. "Well, Zixin, I have a difficult task for you male classmates." Not only Yu Zixin, but other male classmates also asked curiously, "What task?" Anyway, they were idle anyway, so it would be nice to have someone find something for them to do. Liu Kanier pulled out a pile of potatoes and told them. Miaomiao said potatoes are not only good for eating, but they're also filling. There's no staple food like rice and flour in the forest, so we'll have to dig up more of these instead. This was serious business, and the male students patted their chests and promised to complete the task. After asking for the coordinates of the potatoes and the appearance of the plants, the 5 older boys set off. "It's still early to cook dinner, and it doesn't seem like we have anything else to do," Liu Kanier said with a hint of regret. "If I had known, I would have gone with them to dig potatoes." "It's quite interesting." Lin Miaomiao was speechless. This girl couldn't sit still, so she said maliciously, "Since you think you're too idle, why don't you learn how to make energy cards from Wu Na?" Liu Kanier was shocked. "Miaomiao, what nonsense are you talking about? I'm a mecha master, how can I know how to make cards?" They said they were going to learn, so why did this girl jump straight into making cards? Lin Miaomiao didn't even bother to say anything else and simply rolled her eyes at her. "Pay attention to your goddess image. If people see you rolling your eyes, you're in trouble," Liu Kanier said jokingly. After years of being friends, everyone had seen through Lin Miaomiao's pretentious nature. She clearly wasn't a cold person, but she insisted on putting on a faceless demeanor, euphemistically calling it the essential qualities of a goddess. Regarding Lin Miaomiao's pretentious behavior, Liu Kanier said it was simply because she had too much free time. For the sake of her illusory goddess aura, she had to hold back her laughter and tears, constantly maintaining a faceless demeanor. Life was no easy task. But Lin Miaomiao had a different perspective. While a faceless demeanor might seem unpleasant, it could sometimes be a powerful weapon. It could create an invisible pressure during arguments and instantly slay those suitors who prioritize looks. So, after Liu Kanier's reminder, Lin Miaomiao habitually adopted a faceless demeanor, leaving Zhang Keek and Li Jiaqi standing nearby speechless. After this period of frequent contact, Zhang Keek had long noticed that the goddess's expressionless face was somewhat inconsistent with her behavior. She was also quite talkative in private and was most fond of complaining about people with an expressionless face, but she still hadn't gotten used to it. While Zhang Keek was still struggling with this, Lin Miaomiao had already found another job for Liu Kai'er. Go pick up some large dead branches, pick up a lot, so we can roast rabbits tonight. Liu Kai'er didn't refuse the task of picking up dead branches. Okay, I'll check for any fruit while I'm there. It stands to reason that if I can find vegetables, I should be able to find fruit as well. Lin Miaomiao frowned. Who said that where there are vegetables, there must be fruit? Kai'er was taking it for granted. Having vegetables was already good enough, and she even dared to think about fruit. Forget it, let Kai'er find it herself. With luck, she might find some fruit. Lin Miaomiao thought irresponsibly, turning around and taking out all the rabbits to prepare them. In such hot weather, vegetables can be kept in the space button for 2 days, but meat must be eaten on the same day, otherwise it will spoil and stink. This is why Lin Miaomiao decided to eat roasted rabbit. In addition to roasted rabbit, you can also roast eggplants, peppers, etc. Eating rabbit alone would be greasy, and in that case, you would need someone to cut some bamboo skewers. Feng Liken was pulled away by Liu Kai'er, and now there are only 4 people here. She has to deal with the ingredients, and Wu Na is still busy making cards. Only Zhang Keek and Li Jiaqi are free. Lin Miaomiao thought for a moment and waved to the 2 idle people. Keek, Jiaqi, I have a difficult task for you. Zhang Keek was sweating profusely. The difficult task just now was digging potatoes, so what was it now? The answer is, finding bamboo. Chapter 112 Roasted Rabbit. After sending Zhang Keek and Li Jiaqi out to find bamboo, the campsite fell silent. As Lin Miaomiao busied herself skinning and cleaning the rabbit, she missed Lolly so much that she wished she were here. Because collecting firewood was the easiest task, Liu Kai'er and Feng Liken were the first to return. They were startled to see only 2 people in the campsite. One of them was a card maker, completely powerless, while the other was busy preparing food. With no one on guard, what if someone attacked them? Liu Kai'er asked, Miaomiao, why are you the only ones here? Where are Zhang Keek and Li Jiaqi? I sent them out to find bamboo, Lin Miaomiao said calmly. Why are you looking for bamboo? Liu Kai'er asked suspiciously, then realized that wasn't the point. The point was, if you're going to look for it, you have to wait until we get back. No one's here. If you're attacked, you won't even be able to get into your mech, Lin Miaomiao said. It's okay. I know you won't be gone for long. Lin Miaomiao was no fool. She had calculated the time Liu Kai'er and the others would return, even allowing for the time Liu Kai'er would waste looking for fruit. After Zhang Keek and the others left, she surveyed the area and, knowing there were no signs of other teams, only dared to dismount from the mech to clean up the rabbits. Since they weren't worried themselves, Liu Kai'er had nothing else to say. She could only ask if there was anything else she could help with. Lin Miaomiao, feeling overwhelmed, immediately assigned her the task of washing the eggplant, peppers, and potatoes, explaining that the potatoes needed to be peeled. After processing the ingredients, Zhang Keek and the other 2 successfully found bamboo and returned. They busied themselves with slicing bamboo sticks and making bamboo teacups. Once everything was ready, Lin Miaomiao realized the 5 potato diggers hadn't returned yet. Are they trying to finish digging the potatoes? Lin Miaomiao couldn't help but mutter. Liu Kai'er smiled maliciously. Why don't we start roasting the rabbit first? What if the rabbit wasn't back by the time it was cooked? Of course, they'd eat it first. Lin Miaomiao disagreed. No, we should find a way to notify them. Kai'er, go check if any of them are on their mechas. When they disembarked, the fleet members at the door had taken their communicators, forcing them to communicate only with their mechas' built-in communication tools. Without them, communication was impossible. Fortunately, the group was quite reliable. Even amidst their frantic potato digging, they'd still sense someone on guard in their mechas. By comparison, Lin Miaomiao's previous absence seemed weak. Hearing they'd be having roasted rabbit tonight, Yu Zixin was visibly excited. He quickly rushed back to the campsite with his men. Seeing the rabbit already on the fire, Yu Zixin anxiously asked, "Is it cooked?" "Go away," Liu Kai'er rudely pushed him aside. "It's just been roasted, the aroma hasn't even come out yet, how can it be cooked?" Yu Zixin chuckled, his mind preoccupied with a roasted rabbit, rarely refusing to retort. Shi Aoqian, however, approached Lin Miaomiao with a few fist-sized bird eggs, offering them as a gift. "I was just wandering around the forest and found some bird eggs hanging from a tree." Lin Miaomiao glanced at them casually, The eggs were quite large. Just leave them there for now. I'll save them for tomorrow. Since they were having a barbecue for dinner, they didn't bother to cook anything else. They had just enough for steamed egg custard tomorrow morning. Since the rabbit was roasted whole over the fire, it would take time, so Lin Miaomiao taught everyone how to roast eggplant, mushrooms, and other ingredients. Since potatoes were the most plentiful, everyone tacitly prepared to practice with them. The potatoes were cut into slices of uniform thickness and skewered with half-meter-long bamboo sticks, making them very convenient to roast. Unfortunately, most of the people present were young masters and young ladies who had never touched a finger, so the same potatoes turned out to different results. Most of the potato slices roasted by a group of people were burned, and only a small part looked good. Lin Miaomiao picked up a bunch to try, but found that it was half-cooked and was immediately speechless. In the end, Lin Miaomiao had to roast them, but there were so many people and she was impatient to keep roasting. In the end, she only roasted the 20 or so rabbits, and casually roasted 100 or so skewers of mushrooms, eggplants and potatoes. She only roasted a few skewers of peppers because they were too spicy and no one liked them. Because there were so many rabbits, everyone was a little full after sharing the roasted food. Lin Miaomiao took out the steamed buns in case everyone was hungry, but no one touched them. After eating and drinking, Yuzixin lay on the grass far away from the fire and sighed, "If the next few days are this comfortable, my mom won't have to worry that I will lose a lot of weight after the competition. This is not an outing." Liu Kaoyer wrinkled her nose at him. "If it's this comfortable every day, our report card will be ugly." "It's ugly, it doesn't matter." Yuzixin waved his hand indifferently. "The files have been transferred away, so why should he be worried about bad grades?" Liu Kaoyer immediately despised him. "After all, you are the leader of a team. We still have players who need to show themselves. Does your mom know that you are so irresponsible? Even if they don't care, there are still 4 people who need to get good grades. It won't work if Yuzixin goes there with an indifferent attitude." Yuzixin curled his lips. "I see. I was just saying that. I wouldn't really stay here to eat and wait for the competition to end. This place is great for camping," Lin Miaomiao suddenly interjected. "It's close to the entrance, and there's a wide variety of food. I'm sure a lot of teams will come." Liu Kaoyer's eyes lit up. "Miaomiao, you mean just wait here for people to come to you?" "That's right," Lin Miaomiao nodded decisively. Zhu Chen thought about it carefully and agreed with this idea. Moving to a new location would require setting up tents all over again, finding hay and large leaves to make beds, which would be quite time-consuming. The proposal was quickly approved by everyone, and they began discussing the night watch. A single night watch would be boring, they needed at least 2 people. However, the team was mostly female, and the boys didn't want to burden the girls. In the end, it was decided that Shi Yaoqian and Zhuang Xingyan would cover the first half of the night, Yuzixin and Zhu Chen would cover the second half, and Peng Xiao, as a manicurist, would not be on the night watch. After the assignment, Zhuang Xingyan said with some envy, "Girls are still more comfortable. As long as there is no shortage of people, they will get preferential treatment." Zhang Qi and Li Jiaqi were not familiar with the boys, so they said a little embarrassedly, "Why don't we guard for a while too? We can't let you all suffer, don't argue with them." Liu Kaoyer hurriedly stopped her, turning around and said to Zhuang Xingyan fiercely, "If you are envious, you can go for a sex change." Zhuang Xingyan just sighed casually, but he didn't expect to arouse the girl's uneasiness and the fierce woman's dissatisfaction. He laughed dryly and said, "I was just joking, don't mind it." Chapter 113 Exploring the Forest. The first night was peaceful, with no other groups harassing them. Only some nocturnal animals came to the spring to drink and, upon discovering the 2 tents, attempted to occupy them, only to be captured by the night watchman. Lin Miaomiao woke up in the morning and saw 2 wild boars roaming outside the tent. She felt a surge of joy. No need to catch rabbits today. However, the wild boars were too large to handle, so Lin Miaomiao enlisted the help of Peng Xiao, who had nothing else to do. Peng Xiao angrily replied, "I'm a level 3 manicurist, not a butcher." Lin Miaomiao's expression was blank. "So, are you choosing to take nutritional supplements?" "I have nutritional supplements here too, and if you don't have enough, I'll contribute them for free," Liu Kaoyer and the others said. Peng Xiao, defeated, Peng Xiao obediently followed the instructions to kill the wild boar, bleeding it, shaving its hair, and then gutting it. The internal organs were discarded. Wild animals have a varied diet, so it's best not to eat the internal organs. After dealing with the two wild boars, even though Peng Zhao was strong, he was exhausted and sweating all over. He kept shouting that he wanted to take a shower. Yu Zixin and the other three watched him with glee. Peng Zhao went to take a shower by the mountain spring. Lin Miaomiao looked at the four people who were smug and said, "You have seen the steps for handling prey clearly. From now on, just handle the prey you catch at night. Anyway, you have nothing to do at night." Zhu Chen and Shi Yaoqian were fine, but Yu Zixin and Zhuang Zingyan immediately pretended to be pitiful. Miaomiao, keeping watch is very hard. Peng Zhao does a good job, so let him do it. That's because he has nothing to do right now, Lin Miaomiao said calmly. The selection competition will enter a critical period in a few days. He will probably have to work all night to repair the mecha. Yu Zixin and the other two were speechless. Now that the competition has just started, everyone is mainly exploring the environment and searching for new and rare species. In the next few days, when the people are cleared out, the mecha will be more damaged. At that time, Peng Zhao will really have to work all night. You deserved it, you just watched, Liu Kaoyer said with a grin. She rubbed her belly and looked pitifully at Lin Miaomiao. Why haven't you cooked yet? Lin Miaomiao spread her hands. Peng Zhao went to the spring to bathe, so he couldn't wash the vegetables. She didn't want to see the naked man, so she had to postpone cooking. Let Yu Zixin wash them, Liu Kaoyer said without hesitation. Yu Zixin was dissatisfied. I won't go. Shi Yaoqian and the others are men too. Why should they ask me? Liu Kaoyer chuckled. You're the captain, after all. In the end, it was Zhangqi and Li Jiaqi who washed the vegetables. Since they were hungry from the bath, they only had a quick shower. After breakfast, Yu Zixin and Zhu Chen returned to their tent to catch up on some sleep. Wu Na went back to making energy cards, and Peng Zhao was once again ordered to wash the dishes. After a discussion, the others decided to let Zhangqi stay behind at the campsite while the others went to look around. Zhangqi actually wanted to go out, but Zhu Chen and Yu Zixin were still resting, so someone had to keep watch. Ignoring Zhangqi's sad look, Lin Miaomiao and the others set off in high spirits. It was Liu Kaoyer who used the mecha to explore the way today. Lin Miao walked briskly in the forest with his companions, and he could smell the fragrance of grass and trees between his breaths. No wonder he slept so comfortably last night. There were many small animals here, and hares and pheasants could be seen from time to time. When they saw Lin Miaomiao and the others coming, they did not hide, but mostly stood around and watched. No wonder you were able to catch so many rabbits yesterday, Zhuang Zingyan sighed. These rabbits had simply lived a comfortable life for too long and had become stupid. Feng Lican also agreed. Yet, I don't know why, but there aren't many large carnivores here. It's thanks to omnivores like wild boars that the rabbits haven't eaten all the forest. Lin Miaomiao thought for a moment and said, the animals here probably have different areas. Small creatures like rabbits are usually found on the outskirts of the forest, but here, there's nothing at all. The grass is almost as tall as a person. Here, there are rabbits, pheasants, and some omnivores. So, if we go a little further in, maybe we'll find bears, leopards, tigers, and the like. Miaomiao, are you overthinking it? Zhuang Zingyan asked in surprise. Those latter species are protected animals. They're almost gone in our federal zoos. Lin Miaomiao didn't argue. She had only speculated based on the richness of the forests here and the lack of mutations in the flora and fauna. It was as if she was living in a world thousands of years ago. Even though those animals were protected, they were still there. Thinking about zoos nowadays, with no tigers or lions, only all sorts of snakes, Lin Miaomiao felt goosebumps all over her body. It's better to be careful. If you encounter one, you have to catch it alive. Otherwise, you will be sentenced for hunting protected animals, said Lin Miaomiao. Liu Kaoyer and others nodded, but they didn't take it too seriously. If there were protected animals roaming in the forest, the school would not be able to apply to hold a selection competition here. The group wandered around in the forest for a long time without any gains. There were only trees and small animals in the forest. There were no rare animals at all. In the end, everyone was a little discouraged. Do we have to rely on clearing people to earn points? Shi Yaoqian murmured. Feng Lican looked at the time. It's almost 11 o'clock. Why don't we collect some ingredients and go back for lunch? If there is no gain, we should go back first. Liu Kaoyer immediately agreed. Let's pick some mushrooms. Lin Miaomiao shook her head. Mushrooms are usually available after rain. Bamboo shoots are also delicious. I'm not sure if there are any now. After speaking, everyone looked at Li Jiaqi. They went to the bamboo forest yesterday and should know whether there are bamboo shoots. Li Jiaqi blushed. This question was pointless. She had eaten bamboo shoots before, but they were sliced and fried. She had no idea what a whole bamboo shoot looked like. Most of the people had never seen the original appearance of bamboo shoots. Seeing Li Jiaqi's embarrassment, they stopped making things difficult for her and just said, "If you know where the bamboo forest is, you'll know if you go and take a look." Li Jiaqi breathed a sigh of relief and said hurriedly, "The bamboo forest is quite far from here. We have to go east." It took Li Jiaqi and Zheng Qi a lot of effort to find the bamboo forest last time. After finding it, they were afraid that they would still need the bamboo, so they started the mecha and recorded the coordinates. Now it was easy to find it, so Liu Caviar got off the mecha and let Li Jiaqi lead the way. "It's so tiring to run around on two legs," Liu Caviar complained with a bitter face. "We even have to produce and sell the energy cards ourselves. This competition is amazing." Fang Licken felt a sympathetic feeling. "That's right, I've been studying mechas for so long, and I've never run out of energy cards. You ladies really don't know the sufferings of the world." Zhang Xingyan complained. "There are many classmates in school who can't even afford energy cards, and can only work part-time after class to earn money to buy them." Lin Miaomiao was speechless. "That's true, but you have no right to say anything about others. He himself is the same." Chapter 114 Extinct Protected Animals. They quickly reached a bamboo forest, bickering as they hurried along. They drank some water and rested for a while, feeling less tired before they began their search for bamboo shoots. With the exception of Lin Miaomiao, no one knew how to find them, so they eagerly watched her search. Lin Miaomiao had no choice but to explain. After learning that bamboo shoots were immature bamboo seedlings, everyone dispersed to search individually. Not long after, Liu Caviar suddenly exclaimed in delight, "Miaomiao, come and see. I found it." Lin Miaomiao looked over and saw her holding a bamboo stick roughly the thickness of 2 fists. She frowned. "That won't do. It's too old. Something a third the thickness of this will do." Liu Caviar's face fell instantly. "It's so hard to find something that's small." Lin Miaomiao stared at her with a blank expression, and Liu Caviar deflated. "Okay, I'll look for more." With Liu Caviar's lesson in mind, the others stopped looking for the thicker ones. Soon, they had unearthed a small pile of bamboo shoots, which they handed to Lin Miaomiao. Seeing enough to last several meals, Lin Miaomiao was about to call it a day when she heard Li Jiaqi scream, "Ah! There's a monster!" "A monster?" Lin Miaomiao and the others instantly erupted in excitement, dropping their work and rushing to Li Jiaqi's side. They saw a creature about the height of a person, plump, with a round head and short tail, and black and white fur on its head and body. Looking at the 2 circles of black fur covering its eyes, Lin Miaomiao's eyes welled with tears. She had never thought she'd see a giant panda, an animal now extinct in the interstellar age. "Wow, this thing is quite cute, so adorable," Liu Caviar commented excitedly. "Jiaqi, you're so timid, actually getting scared by such a cute animal," Li Jiaqi said awkwardly. "I wasn't scared by it, it's because number 6709 didn't warn me about the danger in the bamboo forest just now." So, Li Jiaqi couldn't continue, as everyone looked at her with a look that said, "I understand, no need to explain." Li Jiaqi burst into tears. At this moment, Liu Caviar and the others were thinking this way: how could such a cute animal be in danger? Of course, the metro wouldn't warn. Lin Miaomiao didn't look like it, and fearing Li Jiaqi would actually cry, she quickly interrupted, "Although this animal feeds on tender bamboo leaves, it's technically a carnivore, so it's not without danger." Everyone was surprised. "Miaomiao, do you know what this is?" Lin Miaomiao nodded. "If I remember correctly, this is the giant panda, a top-level protected species that has been declared extinct by the Federation. Thousands of years ago, ancient Earthers called it a national treasure. As long as we capture it intact, our results will be excellent." "Really?" The crowd cheered, frightening the giant panda, which was watching them warily, into a low howl. No one doubted Lin Miaomiao's words. Everyone knew she loved reading miscellaneous books, so they all had an unparalleled passion for this giant panda, and they were obsessed with how to capture it intact. As the soy sauce team racked their brains for a way to capture the panda, the Dawn's monitoring room erupted in chaos. Teachers and fleet representatives alike crowded around the screen broadcasting Team 67's Panda Roundup. One teacher excitedly shouted, "Stop them now. We won't hurt the pandas without tools. Another teacher searched their communicators for information on giant pandas. Though the data was incomplete due to age, they could still verify that the unfamiliar animal on screen was indeed an extinct species. Vice Principal Lin Yin called Fang Dongqing to report the situation. Fang Dongqing immediately instructed, send a few teachers over with protective steel cages. Let the students try first. If any of their methods harm the pandas, stop them immediately. As soon as Fang Dongqing spoke, all the teachers rushed outside. Lin Yin's face darkened. Stop right there. There's no need to monitor the other teams. We don't need so many people. The teachers reluctantly paused, awaiting Lin Yin's instructions. Lin Yin thought for a moment before saying, just let Jin Hao and Qi Zhengai come with me. The students from Team 67 are their students. Jin Hao and Qi Zhengai excitedly agreed. In the bamboo forest, Lin Miaomiao was directing everyone to weave a net with vines. These vines were found by Li Jiaqi on the cliff not far away. They couldn't use heavy hands, so they had to use a net. They just hoped the vines were strong enough. Because of the important discovery, Lin Miaomiao contacted Zhengqi and called Zhu Chen over. Yu Zixin protested repeatedly, but was still left to watch the camp. When Zhu Chen arrived, everyone's vine nets were almost done. Lin Miaomiao and the other women had blisters on their hands from the vines, but Shi Yaoqian and Zhuang Xingyan were tough and didn't even get a single blisters. Alright, everyone, get on the mechas. Kair, Likan, Yaoqian, and Xingyan will each hold a corner of the net. When Zhu Chen says to start, they'll charge at the giant panda. Jiaqi and I will act accordingly, Lin Miaomiao confirmed. Is that alright? Everyone nodded and in unison took out their mechas from their space buttons. The giant panda screamed a few times and tried to run, but was stopped by Zhu Chen in his mecha. Animals have a natural instinct for danger and didn't dare to scratch Zhu Chen's mecha. They could only turn around and run in a direction where there were no mechas. Unfortunately, they didn't run far before they found the huge and dangerous guy standing in front of them again. The giant panda had no choice but to turn around and run again. After several times, the giant panda became tired and could only stand there howling. At that moment, Zhu Chen spoke over the team chat. Ready, 3, 2, 1, go. 4 mechas carrying the vine net immediately flew over the giant panda and precisely lowered the net. The panda panicked, trapped. Lin Miaomiao then had number 6708 stab the panda's feet with a cold steel broadsword, gently lifting it upwards and flipping it into the vine net. The panda refused to resign itself to its fate, howling and struggling to free itself. The 4 mechas holding the net quickly launched into the air and gathered together. The vine net was so large that the panda couldn't break free. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and finally found their mood for laughter. Zhuang Xingyan jokingly said, Miaomiao, you're not going to let the 4 of us carry this national treasure back to the dawn like this, are you? It's easy to hit the mechas, you idiot. Why don't you tie the net's opening with vines and have one person carry it alone? Liu Kaoyer scolded with a smile. Zhu Chen said gently, Li Jiaqi, do you have any extra vines? If so, go and tie up the net mouth. Li Jiaqi was frustrated that he had no place to use his vines. Hearing Zhu Chen's words, he quickly replied excitedly, yes, I picked a lot. He then took out a long vine and flew over to tie the net mouth, but the mecha arm was too big and the vine was a little small in comparison. Li Jiaqi tied it clumsily for a long time but failed to tie it tightly. Lin Miaomiao had no choice but to step forward to help. Chapter 115, Digging Ginseng Turn Points. The next question to discuss was whether to proactively return the panda to the dawn. It should have been a simple one, but Yu Zixin insisted that the remaining group hadn't seen the panda yet, so they should send it back for them to see. Finally, Zhu Chen, who unconditionally doted on Yu Zixin, agreed. Zhuang Xingyan carried the panda, and the others flanked them as they flew back to the camp. After they left, Lin Qing, Jin Hao, and Qi Zhengai arrived. Seeing that neither the members of the soy sauce team nor the panda were anywhere to be seen, they assumed the team had captured the panda and sent it to the dawn. Lin Qing announced they were returning the same way. Lin Qing and the other 2 were right to assume this. The soy sauce team was still competing and couldn't bring a live animal with them, so they had to return to the dawn warship. Their bonus points wouldn't be reduced. The teachers who remained on the dawn did see the live broadcast via satellite, but the communication signal was blocked, preventing them from notifying Lin Qing. Some of them secretly thought, I told you not to bring me along to watch, and now we're back in vain. Back at camp, Yuzixin and the remaining crew immediately surrounded the panda, though Zuchen limited their viewing distance for safety reasons. While Yuzixin and the others marveled at the sight, Lin Miaomiao pondered a serious question. In novels before the time travel, characters always encountered thousand-year-old ginseng and millstone-sized Ganoderma lucidum on the cliffside. Now that pandas were even here, who knew there might be ginseng and Ganoderma lucidum waiting to be discovered near the cliff where Li Jiaqi had just pulled the vine? When Lin Miaomiao shared her idea, Yuzixin immediately agreed. Let's go dig for ginseng. I can't leave you this time, Liu Gair, who often enjoyed bickering with him, immediately scoffed. Why are you in such a hurry? It's almost lunchtime, and there's no need to rush now. Are you planning on taking a nutritional supplement today? Yuzixin rubbed his nose, rarely refusing to retort. He wasn't one to take nutritional supplements. Zuchen and Lin Miaomiao replied in unison, no. Why? Everyone was puzzled. Lin Miaomiao glanced at Zuchen, motioning for him to explain. Zuchen smiled and said, since we captured the giant panda, this competition has been suspended. Yuzixin and the others said this was too profound and they couldn't understand, asking for a detailed explanation. Lin Miaomiao then said, with a blank expression, one thing leads to another. The higher-ups won't trust the students to capture and collect these precious animals or plants. Oh, so that's how it is, Liu Gair said, suddenly realizing. Then if we want to score more points, we have to act immediately. Lin Miaomiao nodded. Everyone immediately shouted, then what are you waiting for? Let's go. Zuchen frowned. We need to decide who will stay here. Right, that's not right, Lin Miaomiao disagreed. Even though no team knows there's a giant panda here, it's not far from the outer perimeter. If they're discovered, it'll be difficult to defend. With 2 support team members and a live giant panda, even if Zuchen stayed behind, he wouldn't be able to protect it. Yuzixin finally remembered his captain's duties and began to offer suggestions. Why don't we all move to the cliff together? Or send a few people to return the panda to the ship first? Let's go to the cliff together, Zuchen said. Lin Miaomiao nodded in agreement, and the other team members agreed, so the matter was happily decided. After packing up their tents and belongings, the soy sauce team set out again. To save time, and because of speculation that the competition was about to be suspended, Yuzixin, as the captain, decided to take the mecha on the road. Zhang Xingyan continued to carry the panda, with Zuchen protecting him. Yuzixin brought 2 logistics personnel with him. Everyone worked together at full speed and reached the cliff a quarter of an hour later. Zuchen piloted the mecha to the bottom of the cliff. After confirming that there was no danger, he took Yuzixin and Zhang Xingyan back down, while the others piloted the mecha to search for unfamiliar plants on the cliff. The cliff bottom was well hidden. After sending the 2 logistics support staff and the giant panda down, Yuzixin and Zhang Xingyan joined the search, leaving Zuchen behind as a precaution. Since it was Lin Miaomiao who had suggested searching for ginseng, everyone would call her over to identify any unfamiliar flowers or plants. After several attempts, Lin Miaomiao only found weeds. Frustrated, she stormed off on the team chat, which reduced the frequency of being called. An hour later, the Soyo team gathered at the cliff bottom. Zuchen and Peng Zhao had already set up their tent, and the giant panda had been placed in a smaller tent. Since the cliff bottom lacked sunlight, everyone gathered in a circle outside the tent door to count their gains. The novels about the treasures guaranteed to be found on the cliff were all lies. The 8 people, despite their hunger, searched the cliff from top to bottom several times, but found no trace of Ganoderma lucidum. They did find over 20 ginseng plants, but no purported 10,000-year-old ginseng dolls. Yuzixin held up the 2 thickest ginseng stems and speculated, these are quite thick, they must be over 1,000 years old. Everyone ignored his speculation and, in unison, took out nutrient supplements from their space buttons and sipped them. They weren't doctors or pharmacists, so how could they tell the age of ginseng? Is this necessary? Yuzixin said, a little frustrated. You're so noisy, Lin Miaomiao said with a sullen face. It didn't matter if it was 100-year-old ginseng, 1,000-year-old ginseng, or 100-year-old ginseng, because the bonus points wouldn't differ that much. At least everyone's hard work wasn't in vain, even a small bonus was still a bonus. The ginseng was handed to the captain. It had to be turned in, unlike potatoes and bamboo shoots, which could be kept and eaten. After counting the harvest, 3 advanced mechas appeared before the soy sauce team. Everyone jumped up instantly, and just as they were about to draw their mechas to fight, the cockpits of the three mechas opened, revealing Len Qing, Jin Hao, and Qi Honggai. Jin Hao's first words upon exiting the mech were, "You guys are really capable of such a fuss." Len Qing and the other two had only just returned to the warship to discover the pandas hadn't been returned, and the just attending team had even moved their base. Fearing a wasted trip, they'd held off on disembarking again to retrieve the pandas. Seeing Zhu Chen and Peng Xiao setting up their tents, Len Qing was certain they wouldn't be leaving again anytime soon, so he prepared to return. But before he'd even left the monitoring room, Feng Dongqing arrived with a notice demanding the suspension of the competition, the return of all students to school, and the transfer of the pandas to the Shaoyingxing Rare Animal Conservation Park. The suspension required notifying each participating team individually, and Len Qing, busy gathering the team leaders and assigning tasks, had to put the panda retrieval plan aside. Only after everything was arranged did Len Qing arrive with Jin Hao and Qi Honggai. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116, Little Pig, It's Wrong to Always Find Faults. Len Qing took the panda, the ginseng, and the soy sauce team. After handing over the panda, Len Qing brought the suspension notice. To save some energy cards, the soy sauce team took a ride in their homeroom teacher's car. It wasn't until they boarded the dawn that Zhang Xingyan exclaimed, "We're already suspended, so why worry about wasting energy cards?" The soy sauce team looked at each other in bewilderment, as if they had all overlooked the point. Lin Miaomiao thought for a moment and said, "It's a free ride, so it's worth nothing, and it saves energy." Everyone was comforted. Aboard the dawn, Lin Miaomiao had planned to go straight back to her room to rest, but Liu Kaoyer dragged her to the dining hall to watch the excitement. The competition was suspended right after it started. Those teams who didn't know what was going on must be upset. They'll probably go to the dining hall to exchange information. Arriving at the third-floor dining hall, it was indeed as bustling as Liu Kaoyer had predicted. Nearly all the participating teams were crowded there to gather information. "All the classmates are over there. Let's go check it out." Liu Kaoyer dragged Lin Miaomiao and Feng Liqin over, the others reluctantly following. As they approached, Lin Miaomiao heard a classmate complain. "That's weird. Did they say the competition would last for 2 weeks? How come it just started yesterday and it's on hold today? Isn't that a waste of our time?" Ji Ting, save your words. There's nothing strange about it. Did the teacher who notified them say there was an accident? Didn't you hear about it? Roosevelt teased. Of course I heard about it, Ji Ting glared at him. I'm just curious about what the accident was. Liu Kaoyer rushed over. Ting, I know what the accident was. Hey, you're finally back. I was just looking for you, Ji Ting said happily. Remembering what Liu Kaoyer had just said, she was even happier, her voice rising a few notches. So you know what the accident was? Tell us quickly. The restaurant fell silent for a moment, everyone perking up at the movements of the elite class. Liu Kaoyer had come to the restaurant to show off, unfazed by the numerous stares. She simply said, with a mysterious air, "It's a good thing." "You're talking nonsense," Ji Ting said, speechless. The team leader had come running over with a smile on his face to announce the suspension of the game. How could it be anything but a good thing? The other students in the elite class also accused Liu Kaoyer of keeping them on edge, but Liu Kaoyer held her chin high and admitted it without blushing. Amidst the laughter and chatter, a discordant voice rose in the restaurant. "I don't think she has any idea what's going on. She's just using this as an excuse to attract attention." This was Zhu Pinting, who had a feud with Lin Miaomiao. Because of her anger, she now disliked even her former friends Liu Kaoyer and Feng Liqin. Lin Miaomiao pouted secretly. She didn't understand why she was always being criticized. This Zhu Pinting was so annoying, always looking for trouble. If it weren't for her own image, she would have wanted to smack her. Liu Kaoyer had similar thoughts, but she was even more skeptical about how she could have become friends with Zhu Pinting in the past. It was simply a stain on her life. Seeing the suspicious look cast at her because of Zhu Pinting's words, Liu Kaoyer said with a depressed look, "Little pig, it's not right to always find fault. We are not familiar with each other. Don't call me Little Zhu," Zhu Pinting said disdainfully. Liu Kaoyu blinked. I didn't call you little Zhu, I called you little pig. The deliberately drawn-out tone on the word pig made everyone quickly understand what Liu Kaoyu meant, and bursts of laughter suddenly broke out in the restaurant. Zhu Pinting said with a pale face, Liu Kaoyu, I found that you changed when you got close to Lin Miaomiao. You used to be sunny and cheerful, but now you have become as annoying as Lin Miaomiao. Lin Miaomiao, who was also shot while lying down. Why didn't she say anything, and the hatred value was also raised? Lin Miaomiao decided not to remain silent anymore. Zia Ozhu, you're wrong. Kaoyu hasn't become annoying, she's just annoying you, Lin Miaomiao said in a flat tone, and whether Kaoyu knows or not is none of your business, so stop whining and annoying others. Liu Kaoyu applauded. Miaomiao said it well. Miaomiao, you're going too far, Yu Zixin said dissatisfiedly. The onlookers were excited. Is this going to be a drama of friends turning against each other? Lin Miaomiao was very calm. Just say what you want to say, don't keep me in suspense. Yu Zixin was very dissatisfied with her reaction. Shouldn't he jump up and down and say how did I go too far? However, Lin Miaomiao just didn't follow the script. Yu Zixin could only recite the following lines with tears in his eyes. Zia Ozhu is not of the same kind. We can't hold her to our standards. Lin Miaomiao rolled his eyes. That's not funny at all. As for Zhu Pinting, who had become non-human, she had already fainted at the dining table. Jiting glanced sympathetically at Zhu Pinting, who had brought this upon herself in the distance, and weakly raised her hand. Aren't we discussing the reason for the suspension? As if they had sidetracked her, Lin Miaomiao, lost in thought, said casually, a national treasure was discovered in the forest. National treasure? Everyone was bewildered. What was that? We'd never heard of our federation having a national treasure. Liu Kaoyu teased. Miaomiao, you're stupid. How would anyone know a national treasure is a giant panda? Gasps echoed through the cafeteria. It was a giant panda, extinct for thousands of years. No one asked why the game was suspended anymore. The discovery of a giant panda in the forest meant there was a high probability of a second, a third, and possibly even more extinct animals. To protect these rare animals, the school would definitely not allow these enthusiastic students into the forest again. After the shock wore off, Jiting enviously said, it must be Teacher Jin who came to pick you up. The teacher who came to pick us up refused to tell us why. Liu Kaoyu denied it. It's true that Teacher Jin brought us back, but he wasn't the one who told us. Jiting didn't believe it. You're lying. Who else could it be but Teacher Jin? You've overlooked one question, Yu Zixin chuckled. Who discovered this giant panda? Everyone pondered for a few seconds, then drew a startling conclusion from Yu Zixin's smug look. Did you discover it? The reaction was so slow that Yu Zixin felt a little dissatisfied. Shouldn't he have reacted immediately and then worshipped them? Lin Miaomiao just wanted to say, young man, you think too much? Because the kids who reacted were only concerned about a few questions. What does a giant panda look like? Is it cute? Can we see it in the zoo on Shaoyin Star in the future? When can we visit it? Yu Zixin of course didn't know these questions, so he could only laugh dryly. Don't worry, you will know in a few days, just wait for the news. Everyone rolled their eyes at him and turned around to satisfy their appetites. Although it was only a day or two, they were used to eating meals and found it a little unbearable. Nutrients in half-cooked meals were simply the devil. At this time, the meals made by robots became delicious. Chapter 117 Meng Xiaozu uses her special move. The soy sauce team also had a nutritional supplement for lunch. Since they were aboard the warship, they naturally needed to replenish their nutrition, so they went along to buy plenty of food. However, after eating Lin Miaomiao's meals, the robot's cooking made the food on the Dawn seem like dregs. After eating a piece of honey cake, Yu Zixin said to Lin Miaomiao, I remember the goats and rabbits we hunted today are still in your space bar. How about borrowing the kitchen tonight and cooking them? Liu Kaoyu seconded. That's possible, don't even think about it. Lin Miaomiao rolled her eyes at them. With so many people aboard the Dawn, if they knew she could cook, it would ruin her image as a goddess. Although everyone no longer acknowledged her as aloof, Lin Miaomiao remained steadfast in her feigned composure. But if I don't cook, the meat will go bad, Zhang Kik interjected weakly. With the exception of Lin Miaomiao, the other members of the soy sauce team unanimously praised her suggestion. It hit home. The corners of Lin Miaomiao's mouth twitched. This group of people really deserved to be punished. Just as she was about to lose her temper, Jin Hao suddenly sent a text message to Yu Zixin. After reading it, Yu Zixin said, "Teacher Jin asked our team to go to the temporary meeting room on the 5th floor. What are we going there for?" Liu Kaoyer guessed excitedly. "Are they going to give us a reward?" Lin Miaomiao said with a blank face. "I have a bad feeling." Liu Kaoyer rolled her eyes at her. "Miaomiao, don't always use this kind of charlatan jargon. It doesn't fit your image at all." Miaomiao really guessed right this time. Yu Zixin said helplessly, "Teacher Jin said that we were sued by Meng Xiaozu for attacking our teammates. Oh my god, why do we always have conflicts with pigs recently? Could it be that we eat too much pork?" Liu Kaoyer shouted exaggeratedly. "No, I want to switch to eating beef recently." Zhang Qi, who felt a little uneasy when she heard Meng Xiaozu's name, couldn't help laughing, and then she saw that the eyes of her teammates were on her. Lin Miaomiao said with a paralyzed face, "Being able to laugh means everything is fine. Let's go and defeat the Princess Syndrome patient." Zhang Qi felt a little warm in her heart, but she didn't understand. "What is a Princess Syndrome patient?" "I know this." Liu Kaoyer had heard Lin Miaomiao mention it before, and hurriedly answered, "It's the kind of patient who feels good about herself, thinks the whole world should revolve around her, and doesn't allow anyone to compete with her." "Wow, that's a very apt description," Zhang Qi said excitedly. "Meng Xiaozu is not like that." Fang Lick sighed. "Speaking of which, people in our team seem to be particularly prone to provoking similar patients. That Zhu Pinting, who is said to be a jealous patient, is actually also a Princess Syndrome. She can't stand others being better than her. There's no way." Yu Zixin looked deeply touched. "Geniuses are always lonely and easily envied." Everyone frowned, leaving Yu Zixin and walked towards the stairs. Instead of listening to his nonsense here, they might as well go up early to avoid keeping Teacher Jin waiting for a long time. Entering the temporary meeting room, Lin Miaomiao looked at the people there with some surprise. Not only was Jin Hao there, but also Vice Principal Leng Qing, Meng Xiaozu's homeroom teacher Zhang Run, and Zhang Qi's homeroom teacher Qi Zhangai. The plaintiff, Meng Xiaozu, stood in the middle of the room, glaring angrily at Zhang Qi and Lin Miaomiao. "Hello, Vice Principal, Teacher Jin, and Teacher Qi." Yu Zixin greeted the three of them nonchalantly. As for Zhang Run, he simply ignored him. Leng Qing smiled. "Zixin's here, and quite fast." Yu Zixin grinned. "Of course we have to take the Vice Principal's summons seriously, you kid." Leng Qing shook his head and laughed. Zhang Run interrupted with a grimace. "Did the Vice Principal forget about business? He didn't call them here to chat." Leng Qing glared at him. "Why are you so impatient? No wonder you don't get the Outstanding Homeroom Teacher Award every year." This was definitely a personal attack. Zhang Run felt like he had been hurt 1,000 times and was completely unwell. After scolding Zhang Run, Leng Qing felt refreshed and began to ask questions. "That classmate Meng said that Miaomiao was instructed by Zhang Qi to take her out to explore the way and frame her." "I didn't," Zhang Qi defended anxiously. "Me neither." Lin Miaomiao was very calm. Leng Qing looked at Meng Xiaozu. "What did classmate Meng say?" Meng Xiaozu swallowed and pointed at Lin Miaomiao and said, "She has a good relationship with Zhang Qi. If she didn't want to avenge Zhang Qi, why would she ask me to go out with her? Because besides Qi, you are the only second-level mecha master, suitable as bait," Lin Miaomiao explained calmly. "Then you made me wait outside the yard, and they beat me out," Meng Xiaozu said again. Lin Miaomiao looked at her in surprise. "I told you to go in, but you were the one waiting outside," Meng Xiaozu insisted. "You made me wait." Lin Miaomiao frowned slightly. "Are you sure you don't want to tell the truth?" Meng Xiaozu, "We heard everything you said." "Forget about slandering Miaomiao," Liu Kaoyer scoffed. The other team members chimed in. "That's right, you're so confident lying to the Vice Principal." Meng Xiaozu's eyes flushed. These people were all in cahoots. Even Chief Zuchen was on Lin Miaomiao's side. What right did she have? No, she wouldn't give in until Lin Miaomiao was punished. "You all have good relationships with her, so of course you'd cover for her," Meng Xiaozu said angrily. "Your words can't serve as testimony," Lin Miaomiao said expressionlessly. "If their words don't count, do yours alone." Meng Xiaozu was speechless. But Lin Miaomiao refused to let her go. "The teachers have all seen the video. Meng Xiaozu was killed in one move. She didn't even escape. How could I command her mecha not to move? I was scared." Meng Xiaozu hurriedly defended herself. "Besides, 6 mechas surrounded me. Even if I escaped at the beginning, I would have been cleared out later. Don't make excuses, Zhu Chen suddenly interrupted. Miaomiao was surrounded by more than a dozen mechas. How come she didn't get out? As long as you start to react, I will have time to rescue you, Meng Xiaozu argued, but she was a little anxious. She couldn't help but use her usual tricks again. She sat on the ground and burst into tears, crying and yelling, I knew you all liked her and helped her bully me. Everyone wronged me and everyone helped her, everyone present was speechless. Such a trick was too shameless. Zhang Keq sneered. This was the same trick she had used since she was a child. It was time for her to commit suicide next. No one likes me anyway. So I might as well just crash into the wall and die. Meng Xiaozu stood up and ran towards the wall. Everyone in the meeting room was stunned, and no one tried to stop her. Meng Xiaozu slammed into the wall with a loud thud. Chapter 118 Don't hit your brain. Meng Xiaozu lay mute on the ground, blood pouring from her forehead. The pain brought tears to her eyes. She couldn't understand what was happening. Everyone present was clearly skilled, so why didn't anyone stop her? Yu Zixin, who was closest to Meng Xiaozu, said hypocritically, Oh, I never thought that someone would commit suicide by banging their head against the wall, and there would be no one to stop them. In the interstellar age, those who wanted to commit suicide would choose to jump into a spaceship, plunging into the vast starry sky. It was romantic, and no one would see their miserable remains. Therefore, those interstellar passenger ships rarely installed glass windows in the cabins, even if the glass was as hard as diamond. Who said it wasn't? I was so scared that I finally came to my senses, Zhang Xingyan said exaggeratedly. Leng Qing slammed the table in anger. Too many students are so mentally fragile nowadays. It seems necessary to offer a psychology class. Zhang Keq blinked. Why did the vice principal mention psychology classes? Shouldn't he call a doctor immediately? However, Meng Xiaozu made progress this time. This was the first time she had hit her head against a wall. In the past, as soon as she made a move to hit her head against a wall, someone would immediately stop her. In the end, it was Meng Xiaozu's class teacher Zhang Run who sent a video call to the fleet's infirmary. Lin Miaomiao slowly walked over to Meng Xiaozu and squatted down. She took out a dirty handkerchief from somewhere and pressed it against Meng Xiaozu's wound. She said with a stern face, Don't worry, the bleeding will stop soon, let go. Meng Xiaozu gritted her teeth. She used so much force, worried that she wouldn't bleed enough, right? Lin Miaomiao righteously refused. The treatment device hasn't been brought here yet, and I'm afraid you'll bleed too much. Meng Xiaozu bared her teeth and roared, I don't need your fake kindness, just let me go, I can't help it. Lin Miaomiao said helplessly, Who told you to commit suicide because you couldn't frame me? If you bleed to death, I'll feel guilty for several days. Meng Xiaozu was shocked and angry. She clearly wanted to force the vice principal to believe her by banging her head against the wall, but how could Lin Miaomiao distort her words like this? Moreover, if something happened to her, Lin Miaomiao would only feel guilty for a few days. Is he a human being after all? Furious, Meng Xiaozu rolled her eyes and fainted. At that moment, Jin Hao finally remembered that he had a small therapeutic device in his space button. He pulled it out and walked over to Lin Miaomiao. Use this to treat her. Zhang Run jumped up and down. Why didn't you take out the device sooner? Who's responsible if something happens? Jin Hao said calmly. She was just petrified. The doctor arrived and, seeing Lin Miaomiao using the device to treat the patient, he complained, What's wrong with you? You're calling a doctor for a minor injury when you have a device. Do you think we have nothing to do? Jin Hao smiled and said, She just committed suicide by hitting her head against the wall. It was so sudden that we were all shocked. After treating the wound, doctor, you have to check her, especially her head, in case there's something wrong. If she had epilepsy or something, she needed to be treated early. The doctor reluctantly accepted this explanation and, after Lin Miaomiao finished, took over. He performed a full-body examination on the unconscious Meng Xiaozu, paying particular attention to her head, and found her to be healthy. After some thought, the doctor asked the patient about the reason for his suicide. Naturally, everyone brought up Lin Miaomiao's story. Zhang Run tried to distort the facts, but Leng Qing kept a close eye on him. After understanding the whole story, the doctor issued a displeased diagnosis. This is mental retardation, incurable. After the doctor left, Lin Miaomiao suddenly remembered something. I thought it would be fun to participate in this kind of competition for the first time, so I recorded it from beginning to end. Although the communicator had no signal, it didn't affect the recording function. Even when he was positioning his mecha, he recorded it, as it had a built-in recording function. Jin Hao said in surprise, Miaomiao seems to like recording. Whenever she was wronged, Lin Miaomiao could always produce the video as evidence, even the jealousy incident a few years ago. She was truly a tough guy. Lin Miaomiao said calmly, it's just an extracurricular hobby. I'm sorry to have embarrassed you, Teacher Jin. Miaomiao, upload a copy of the video to my communicator so we can review what happened together, Lang Qing said. With the exception of Zhang Run, everyone happily reviewed the video together. Meng Xiaozi regained consciousness quickly, and was greeted by many strange looks, which made her feel uneasy. Then Meng Xiaozi saw the recording of her being cleared out, and it was an audio version. Meng Xiaozi, who the hell is so bored that he actually recorded it? The matter is very clear, and the evidence is sufficient. Does classmate Meng Xiaozi have anything else to say? Lang Qing asked. No, Meng Xiaozi said with her head hung down. No one even cared about her tricks. There really weren't many good people in the school. Zhang Run, what about you? Lang Qing asked again. The recording is so complete, what else can I say? Zhang Run said depressedly. Although he didn't want to admit it, the students in the elite class were indeed better than those in his class. They even thought of recording before going to the competition, which eventually became a good way to clear their names. Lang Qing nodded. In that case, we will announce the punishment for Meng Xiaozi after we go back to school and communicate with her parents. So let's stop here today. Those who want to go back to their rooms to rest can go back. The meeting is adjourned. Relying on their large number of people, Lin Miaomiao and others rushed out the door first, but when they were about to reach the stairs, they stopped at the same time. Meng Xiaozi, who was walking behind, was a little hesitant. Were they going to beat her? But after thinking about it, it seemed impossible. They were under the teacher's nose, how could they be so bold? Although the complaint failed, Meng Xiaozi did not feel ashamed at all. She was just depressed that Lang Qing was going to tell the parents about this matter, so she disliked Lin Miaomiao and Zhang Qik even more, and snorted heavily when she passed by them. Meng Xiaozi had just gone down a step when she heard Liu Caoyer's voice behind her. Liu Caoyer shouted, our goal is, everyone chimed in, down with the princess syndrome. Meng Xiaozi didn't understand what princess syndrome meant. But that didn't stop her from knowing the slogan was a declaration of war against her. She stamped her feet in anger, but unfortunately, she forgot she was going down the stairs, and so tragedy struck again. Oh, Xiaozi is so careless. She even lost her focus while going down the stairs, Liu Caoyer exclaimed dramatically. Feng Liken said thoughtfully, she rolled down to the 4th floor. It must be very painful. I hope she didn't hurt her head. The doctor said she's mentally retarded. Keek, hurry up and save your cousin. It's really not easy for your cousin. She has to give her first aid at all times, Yu Zixin said, his voice already sighing. Zhang Keek responded by running downstairs, shouting, Cousin, why are you so careless? I hope you didn't hurt your head. The students who were resting in their rooms sensed something was going to happen and rushed out. Lang Qing and others who had just walked out of the meeting room were in a mess. This group of people must have done it on purpose. Chapter 119 Black-Hearted Old Jin. Unaware of the school's upcoming plans, the students stayed on board after the competition was suspended, awaiting further notice. Instead, the instructors and representatives from the various military fleets disembarked to see if they could find any more giant pandas. Rumor has it that they actually caught 2. 2 days later, Feng Dongqing finally issued a notice, demanding the Dawn return immediately. Lin Miaomiao was running in the training room when she received the notice. Finally, I can go back home, Lin Miaomiao said happily. She'd only been away for a few days and already she missed the softness of her bed at home. She'd heard that beds in the military were also very hard. Lin Miaomiao didn't know what she'd do if she joined the fleet, and she didn't know if she'd be punished for bringing her own bed with her. Liu Caoyer, who was doing sit-ups not far away, slumped over the training equipment, panting. Once her breathing stabilized, she said glumly, the return trip will take several days. If only I had special abilities like the Kongming beast, I could teleport wherever I wanted. It's no coincidence that exotic beasts can become a threat to humans. Ordinary exotic beasts are nothing special, but high-level ones possess special abilities. Besides the common 5 abilities of wind, fire, thunder, earth, and water, they also possess special abilities. At higher levels, they can teleport. Kair, it's not even dark yet. Stop daydreaming, Lin Miaomiao said coldly. She had only heard of exotic beasts, not people with special abilities. Miaomiao, you're so mean, Liu Kair complained indignantly. I was just daydreaming, and you had to pour cold water on me, Fang Licken soothed, just bear with it. We can still pass the time by exercising. Lin Miaomiao looked around the training room. Almost no training equipment was unused. Besides chatting in the dining room and watching movies on the communicator in the room, the only place aboard the Dawn was in the physical training room for exercise, so the room had been packed for the past 2 days. It's a pity there's no Starfield cabin on the ship. It would be great if we could access the StarNet. I heard the Battle Center is holding a Mecha Championship recently, Liu Kair said with some regret. Even if I can't participate, it's nice to go and watch it. Lin Miaomiao also loved browsing the StarNet, so she had naturally heard about the Mecha Championship. Her friend Kinkiu on the StarNet had also entered the competition. It was said that the winner's prize was a double S buildable mecha, and Kinkiu had gone there just for this mecha. Lin Miaomiao was skeptical, though. Judging by Kinkiu's usual performance against her, she doubted she'd even make the finals. She'd have to think of some words of comfort before heading back. Her thoughts drifted a bit, and she snapped back to her thoughts, grumbling, "What's so bad about that? The Mecha Championship lasts 2 months, so I'll be able to see most of it if I go back now." After some banter, Yuzixin approached and said, "Aren't you guys eating lunch?" "Just eating," Liu Kair asked, puzzled, checking the time on her communicator. "It's past 12. Today's gone by so quickly." Of course, it was time to eat. Last time, the students had packed up breakfast, leaving those behind them without a full meal. Captain Uchiu of the Dawn was furious. He not only limited the breakfast portion, but also the time limit. Arriving late meant going hungry. "Hurry up," Zhang Xingyan urged. "I don't want to go hungry again." Without further delay, they left the training room and headed for the dining hall. Halfway through lunch, everyone's communicators began to buzz with text messages. Yuzixin complained, "You can't even eat in peace." Zhang Xingyan, however, had a foreboding feeling. "Is it old Jin summoning me again?" Everyone chorused, "Shut up." However, what was coming still came. Although Zhang Xingyan had already shut up, the text message was indeed from Jin Hao. Fortunately, this time it wasn't a complaint or anything like that, but rather an announcement for a class meeting. "Everyone, please be in the temporary meeting room on the 5th floor at 1 p.m. sharp for the class meeting. Latecomers will be punished by a 50,000-meter run, and those who don't will have their diplomas withheld for 20 years. "Wow, old Jin is so ruthless," Zhang Xingyan exclaimed. "Withholding it for 20 years would be more practical than just not issuing it. That won't work. The school stipulates that it must be issued, otherwise students can sue the teacher. It just doesn't limit when it can be issued," Fang Licken said. "Actually, there is no difference," Lin Miaomiao said calmly. "Who'll remember the unissued diploma in 20 years? In other words, withholding it for 20 years is equivalent to not issuing a diploma." "Teacher Jin is getting better and better at playing games," Zhang Xingyan sighed. "I don't know if he's serious about it," Yuzixin suggested with a smile. "It's not difficult to find out, just try it." Zhang Xingyan glanced at him. "If you want to try it, go yourself. My mother is waiting to see my diploma." "Miaomiao, are you full?" Xiaoqian came over and asked. "If not, I'll buy you something." Everyone frowned. "We are discussing business, don't come and intrude," Xiaoqian said righteously. "I'm talking about business too." "What if I'm not full and I'm hungry before dinner time?" Lin Miaomiao said helplessly. "I'm already full." "Really?" Xiaoqian was unwilling to give up. "Miaomiao, don't be polite with me." "Really?" Lin Miaomiao emphasized. "So there's no need to bother you." Fang Licken was a little confused. Why was Xiaoqian acting so crazy again today? If she remembered correctly, there was always a reason for his attentions. So she looked around the restaurant and finally saw Yi Hongwen at the ordering counter. "Look at the ordering counter," Fang Licken nudged Lin Miaomiao. Not only Lin Miaomiao, but everyone else looked over reflexively and understood. Yuzixin looked at Xiaoqian with disdain. "I said I hadn't seen you act like this a few days ago. Today, we were discussing serious matters, but you acted so strangely. It turns out you were trying to show off to Teacher Yi." Xiaoqian defended himself. "Don't blame me, it's just a coincidence." However, no one believed him, as this wasn't the first time. Liu Kair said unhappily, "How can you be like this? You're such a money grubber? You usually just follow Miaomiao around half-heartedly, but when you meet a rival, you come up with underhanded tricks. Are you still a man? This is not the way to pursue a girl. Liu Cao had reminded him many times to be more attentive and to be open and honest with your rival, but he just wouldn't listen. Cao, don't talk nonsense. Yu Zixin looked at Shi Yaoqian with some concern. Lin Miaomiao also looked at Liu Cao and shook her head in disapproval, although she also didn't like Shi Yaoqian's attitude. Liu Cao stopped talking reluctantly, but Shi Yaoqian stood up with a dark face and said, I have something to go back to my room first. The class meeting is about to start. Yu Zixin tried to stop him, but Shi Yaoqian left without looking back. After Shi Yaoqian left, everyone lost the mood to talk and laugh. They finished their meal in silence, sat in the restaurant for a while, and then prepared to go upstairs. Chapter 120 The Lively Elite Class Students. It was only 12:50 when the 6 of them entered the makeshift meeting room, but almost everyone in the class was already there, seemingly frightened by old Jin's threats. The room contained not only an oval conference table but also rows of individual chairs. The 6 of them chose a few empty seats that were connected. At 1 o'clock, the entire class was present, but Jin Hao, who had been notified of the meeting, was nowhere to be seen. At first, everyone remained quiet, but after half an hour, when Jin Hao still hadn't arrived, the room began to hum. Why hasn't Jin Liaohe arrived yet? Can we go back to our rooms? It's so boring waiting here. We might as well go back to sleep. Yu Zixin couldn't help but grumble, isn't old Jin out to pick up girls? He hasn't come yet. There aren't many girls on this ship besides the students, Zhang Xingyan said jokingly. Is old Jin planning a teacher-student romance? Lin Miaomiao said with a blank expression. Actually, Zixin's aunt is quite pretty. I've seen teacher Jin having dinner with her. Yu Zixin was stunned. Is Jin Liaohe going to be my uncle? I say, is this really okay for you guys? Zhu Chen was speechless. It was obviously nonsense, but they were discussing it so enthusiastically that even the students around them were listening intently. The news that teacher Jin and Captain Yu were getting married would probably spread throughout the dorm tomorrow. No surprise, the students in the elite class were just gossipy. Lin Miaomiao glanced around, seeing many pairs of curious eyes, and she fell silent. Outside the conference room, Jin Hao, sweating profusely, jokingly addressed the fleet representatives. The students in our class are all quite lively and approachable. The fleet representatives exchanged bewilderment. Wasn't that too much of a sass? Teacher Jin was also quite good-tempered. He wasn't even offended by the students gossiping about him. Only Yi Hongwen understood Jin Hao's inner devastation, having been there himself. Seeing the room becoming increasingly lively, and Jin Hao unable to interrupt, Yi Hongwen decided to lend a hand and sent a text message to Lin Miaomiao. Lin Miaomiao read the message and instinctively turned around, immediately embarrassed. She quickly called out, Teacher Jin. The conference room fell silent, and everyone turned around, gasping, their faces etched with the word embarrassment. Flip the table. Where's the class meeting? What the hell are those fleet representatives at the door? Fortunately, everyone was resilient and quickly recovered. They all smiled and greeted the teacher at the door. Teacher Jin, you're here. We've been waiting for you for half an hour. Jin Hao was visibly frustrated. He'd caught these bastards gossiping about him, but instead of being able to discipline them, he was being accused of being late. His role as a homeroom teacher was truly miserable. Jin Hao gritted his teeth and said, Everyone, are you all here? I'm calling a class meeting today to announce the upcoming competition format and to get to know the representatives. This was a school tradition, a privilege reserved for the elite class. In previous years, elite students would have inquired about the details well in advance, but this year's class was so easygoing that no one bothered, leading to this situation. The students nodded in unison, watching the fleet representatives one by one take their seats at the conference table. Then, someone spotted Yi Hongwen, and the meeting room became lively again. Oh my god, am I seeing Teacher Yi? Dazzled +1, I saw him too, you idiots. I told you I saw Teacher Yi in the restaurant a few days ago, and you didn't believe me. Stop arguing, you're all right, that's Teacher Yi, he's now the captain of the Shenyu fleet, Yu Zixin said proudly, feeling the good of a prophet. After confirming they weren't seeing things, everyone rushed towards Yi Hongwen, greetings, reporting grades, and complaints about why he hadn't come back to school to see everyone. Yi Hongwen was overwhelmed. The other fleet representatives felt as if 1,000 beasts were running wildly through their minds. This looked ominous. The elite class students were a bit lively, but their abilities were undeniable. This year, they weren't going to end up in Shen Yu's mediocre fleet, were they? Everyone, be quiet, and return to your seats, Jin Hao shouted, but no one paid any attention. Jin Hao was deeply frustrated. He felt like he'd raised a bunch of ungrateful people. Ye Hongwen had been gone for 2 years, yet his status was higher than his current homeroom teachers. Others had forgotten the old when new people came, but with him, the situation was completely reversed. Seeing the situation getting out of control, Zhu Chen, the class monitor, had no choice but to step forward and shout, "Classmates, we're having a class meeting now. Please return to your seats and take a seat. We'll discuss anything after the meeting." Zhu Chen held a high reputation in the class, and even though everyone hadn't finished what they wanted to say, they still obediently returned to their seats, which further frustrated Jin Hao. The class meeting finally officially began, and Jin Hao stood up to announce the subsequent arrangements for the competition. Due to this sudden incident, the school leadership has held a meeting and decided to change the format of the selection round back to a ring competition. Ring competition? Damn, is it going to be another free-for-all? Yu Zixin muttered. Due to the sheer number of students, a one-on-one match was impossible in the preliminary rounds, so a free-for-all format was adopted. Hundreds of mechas were crammed onto the stage, and those knocked off were eliminated. Notably, to maintain the speed of the competition, all mechas were prohibited from flying or using firearms. Any violation resulted in automatic elimination. The presiding teacher recorded the time for each eliminated student, and the preliminary round concluded only when 100 players remained. This format seemed unfair, as the sheer number of players limited their ability to execute moves, and some higher-level mechas were often surrounded and eliminated early. Every year, students protested, demanding changes to the competition format. Initially, the school refused to change its stance, stating that luck was a factor in skill. But then, tired of this repeated occurrence, they changed the format of the preliminary rounds this year. But then, unexpectedly, another unexpected situation arose. Lin Miaomiao nudged Yu Zixin, whispering, "Zixin, we've done a great job this time. You should ask for special treatment, like a direct entry into the semifinals." "Why should I ask?" Yu Zixin protested. "Because you are the captain," Lin Miaomiao answered with a blank face. "Don't give me that. If the competition method is changed, the team will be automatically disbanded." Yu Zixin would not be fooled. Jin Hao, who was still explaining the rules of the game, called out his name dissatisfiedly. "Yu Zixin, what are you mumbling about?" Yu Zixin burst into tears. It was not only him who was talking, why was only his name called out? This was unfair. Didn't Jin Hao see Lin Miaomiao talking? Of course he saw it, but he was too soft-hearted. How could he dare to get it when he often went to the Lin family villa for free meals? Chapter 121 The Principal's Favor. With their names called, Yu Zixin reluctantly asked Lin Miaomiao what she wanted to know, though he didn't ask too directly. "Teacher Jin, the previous competition lasted 2 days. How will the results be calculated? Will they all be cancelled?" This question concerned not only the members of the SYNOPSIS team, but also the other students, who nodded to indicate that they wanted to know. Jin Hao remained calm and said, "That's what I'm going to talk about next. Everyone performed very well this time. The team leaders will calculate the points earned over the past 2 days and add them to your competition results, while the results of the previous 2 days hadn't been wasted," which was undoubtedly good news. The members of the SYNOPSIS team were still a little upset. They had wanted to skip the preliminary round. Fortunately, Jin Hao quickly added, "Also, the members of the SYNOPSIS team have made special contributions. After research, the school has decided to give them some preferential treatment in the subsequent competitions." Lin Miaomiao felt overjoyed. Did they not have to participate in the preliminary round? It wasn't that she wasn't confident in her own abilities, but participating in a free-for-all was no match for the excitement of watching a spectacle. The senior graduation competition was closed to the public. She'd heard of the excitement of the preliminary rounds in previous years, but she hadn't been able to witness them. This year was different. However, the preferential treatment Jin Hao mentioned, related to the preliminary round, wasn't exactly what Lin Miaomiao had hoped for. To maintain fairness, the school had exempted members of the SYNOPSIS team from the initial stages of the preliminary round. However, once the arena was down to 100 players, they were forced to join. After another free-for-all, Only the remaining 100 would advance to the semifinals. Lin Miaomiao burst into tears. Was this preferential treatment or a deliberate setup? It was rumored that Principal Fang Dongqing had fought tooth and nail to secure this for the soy sauce team. The other students were filled with envy and resentment, but the soy sauce team members felt a deep sense of malice from the principal. They'd worked so hard to stay in the arena, on the verge of advancing to the semifinals, when suddenly a group of Chen Yaojin, a group of powerful opponents, appeared, trying to snatch their spot. What to do? Of course, they had to attack them in groups. Zhu Chen, in particular, would have been better off in the arena from the start. After all, Class A had several mecha pilots who had just reached level 4 and could have shared the firepower. But if he went on stage later, everyone would have wanted to finish him off first. Taking this into consideration, Zhu Chen stood up and gently declined, "Teacher Jin, we just happened to come across a giant panda and were lucky enough to capture it. There's no need for special treatment. Let's just forget about it. We're willing to work together." Jin Hao gloated, "It's a good idea, Zhu, but the principal has already officially notified us, so there's no way to change it." The facts were set, and no matter how upset the soy sauce team was, they couldn't change the facts. After Jin Hao's announcement, it was time for the fleet representatives to speak. Most of them introduced their fleets. There were 30 or 40 fleet representatives. And although each representative only had 5 minutes, it was already past 6 in the evening by the time everyone had finished. Leaving the conference room, everyone rushed to the cafeteria. Dinner was not served after 7, so they had to hurry. Shi Aokian was still in a bad mood and didn't sit with Lin Miaomiao and the others. They didn't take it too seriously. After all, the preferential treatment the school had mentioned today was really depressing. Lin Miaomiao ate very little that night, so she just ordered a bowl of noodle soup. The robot-made noodle soup tasted pretty good because the toppings were made strictly according to the recipe and the soup was made from bones, so everyone loved to eat noodles when they didn't need to go out. When they were halfway through the meal, everyone regained their former energy. Yu Zixin still had the mind to complain about the principal. "I don't know how we offended him. It was said to be a reward, but it dug a big hole for us." "Who said it wasn't?" Liu Kaoyu rarely argued with him but agreed. Just now, several classmates in the class who passed the 4th level mecha technician exam were staring at Zhu Chen with shining eyes. They must have set their sights on him. Before Zhu Chen could speak, Yu Zixin said worriedly, "What should we do then? They will definitely target Ashin first." Now that the matter was settled, Zhu Chen calmed down and just chuckled. "It doesn't matter. It just adds a little difficulty. It should be no problem to enter the semifinals." Having said that, everyone still comforted Zhu Chen, making Zhu Chen laugh and cry, and he stopped before he stopped. Of the group, only Lin Miaomiao was still intently eating her noodle soup. Yu Zixin complained on behalf of his boyfriend, "Miaomiao, you're such a bad friend. Zhu Chen's in real trouble, and you're still busy eating." Lin Miaomiao blinked. "I do have confidence in Zhu Chen. Besides, our files have been sent to the Shenaiyu fleet, so the competition ranking isn't important." Yu Zixin, however, was still dissatisfied. Zhu Chen is the top student in his grade. It would be embarrassing if he finished too low in the graduation competition. Zhu Chen stopped him, saying, "Zixin, Miaomiao is right. The title isn't important to me. If I don't take first place, will everyone think I'm incompetent?" Of course, that wasn't possible. Zhu Chen was the first in his class to earn the rank of level 4 Mecha Master. Even so, Yu Zixin still felt a little resentful. Ever since they'd been together, he'd grown increasingly annoyed when Zhu Chen suffered any injustice. But he didn't really hold a grudge against Lin Miaomiao. After all, what she said was true. Seeing Yu Zixin with a sullen face, Lin Miaomiao, who had eaten her fill, finally couldn't bear it anymore and told him kindly, "Don't worry too much, I'll help you share the burden on the day of the competition." But Yu Zixin said depressedly, "Ashin's level 4 mecha is too eye-catching, but he can't get a level 3 mecha." Yu Zixin was so concerned that he was confused. Zhu Chen was busy comforting him and didn't think about the meaning of Lin Miaomiao's words. Liu Kaoyu was the first to react and exclaimed, "Miaomiao, you are at level 4, Kaoyu." Lin Miaomiao was speechless. Fortunately, the restaurant was noisy and no one heard it, otherwise he would be watched again. Liu Kaoyu stuck out her tongue and said, "I'm just too surprised." "That's great." Yu Zixin cheered reflexively, then realized something was wrong. "Miaomiao, when did you reach level 4? How come we didn't know?" Lin Miaomiao said honestly, "It was the night when I went to school to register. You know that my physical fitness has exceeded level 4 a long time ago, but my mental strength has regressed due to an injury 2 years ago. Then why did you hide it from everyone?" Liu Kaoyer glared at her unhappily, and decided that she would never forgive her if she didn't come up with a reasonable reason. Lin Miaomiao felt a little embarrassed when this was mentioned. At first, she forgot about it because she was too excited about her first time riding a starship, but later she was addicted to virtual games and completely forgot about it. Looking at the eager eyes of her friends, Lin Miaomiao looked up at the sky guiltily. "My memory is not very good, I forgot," Liu Kaoyer and others said in unison. Who would believe it? Chapter 122 Judging People by Age. Believe it or not, the matter ultimately fell through. After all, Lin Miaomiao's becoming a level 4 mecha master was a good thing. However, in order to claim her level 4 mecha during the competition, she had to first apply for a level 4 mecha master certificate from the Mecha Master Association. It seemed that regardless of the world, certificates were essential. For example, a communicator, like a 21st century identity, was provided to every member of the Federation at birth. Those from well-off families could provide their own, while those from less fortunate families received a basic certificate. Those without one were considered undocumented. Fortunately, due to the suspension of the previous competition, everyone had 2 days off after returning to school, supposedly to allow them to rest and recuperate. After a day of rest at the Lin family compound, Lin Miaomiao went to the Federation Mecha Master Association's branch in Milulan to take the certification exam. Yi accompanied her to the exam. Since Lin Yuhei was too busy to witness his daughter's ascension as a level 4 Mecha Master, he delegated Yi to record the video. Although it was videotaped, it only recorded the entrance and registration process. The exam was not open to the public. Even so, Lin Yuhei insisted on recording the entire process. The Milulan branch was located not far from the Milulan First Military Academy. The Lin family villa happened to be purchased nearby, supposedly to make it easier for students to take the exam, although this caused dissatisfaction among other military academies on the planet. After entering, Lin Miaomiao walked straight to the registration counter and lined up. There were relatively few people taking the exam today, so it was soon Lin Miaomiao's turn. The receptionist, a young and beautiful woman, only glanced at Lin Miaomiao and then lowered her head and asked nonchalantly, "What level are you taking?" "Level 4, Lin Miaomiao replied. The receptionist said impatiently, "Stop talking nonsense and tell me the truth." "I really am taking level 4, Lin Miaomiao said with a blank face. "Does she look so unreliable?" The receptionist raged. "I say, little girl, are you here to cause trouble? We're so busy here, we don't have time to play with you." Next, she looked young, so how could she possibly be taking the level 4 exam? She'd probably be taking the level 3 at best. Besides, even if she made a mistake, so what? The person above her would probably just scold her. The male student in the queue behind her responded and started to step forward. Lin Miaomiao also raged. "Do you have to decide whether I can take the level 4 exam? Call your supervisor out, I'm going to complain." "So what if she's young and looks innocent? She can't take the level 4 exam." "Whatever," the receptionist pouted. There were so many kids like that who were so overly ambitious. Last time, someone who hadn't even passed the level 2 Mecha Master exam came over and said they wanted to take the level 4 exam. She thought she'd met a genius, but ended up wasting her time and getting scolded by her supervisor again. Lin Miaomiao was also helpless. Her father had brought her to the exam last time, and the receptionist had politely checked her ID before handing her the form. Who knew this time, this guy wouldn't even bother to check her information and just called her a troublemaker. Without the form, Lin Miaomiao couldn't take the exam. So she went to the supervisor's office on the second floor. Since she was allowed to complain at will, she would feel sorry for herself if she didn't go. What Lin Miaomiao didn't know was that when she went to complain, Yi, who was following behind her, was also complaining to Lin Yuhei, describing in detail how the receptionist of the Miluolan branch bullied Lin Miaomiao because of her appearance. Over there, Lin Yuhei was furious and ready to expel this arrogant receptionist from the Mecha Miluolan branch. Here, Lin Miaomiao had already found the person in charge of the branch, Yu Jiuli. "You said you came to take the exam for the 4th level Mecha Master, but who knew that the receptionist didn't even look at your information and directly refused to receive you?" Yu Jiuli confirmed. Lin Miaomiao nodded. "Yes, Yu Juli looked her up and down. Seeing her pretty face, expressionless, yet possessing an air of authority and a calm gaze, he realized the receptionist had misjudged her again. With a smile, he handed her a level 4 Mecha Master application form. Sorry, Tang Tang is taking over, and she's not doing her job properly. I'll teach her a lesson later. However, while she was a top troublemaker, she had a backer he couldn't afford to offend. He could only offer a verbal warning. Punishment or expulsion was out of the question. No problem, Lin Miaomiao said, not one to meddle. She took the form and began filing it out. Yu Juli glanced at her curiously, realizing she was indeed quite young. At her age, qualifying for a level 4 Mecha Master qualification was nothing short of a genius. No wonder Tang Tang, despite her previous experience, refused to believe it. Looking at her name, Yu Juli was shocked. Could she be from the Lin family? If so, it wouldn't be surprising. The Lin family had always been known for its talented members. It was said that the only daughter in the younger generation was a genius, and they also had a pair of talented twins. The talented girl from the Lin family used to be quite high profile, but later she was seriously injured due to a relationship dispute and kept a low profile. Student Lin Miaomiao is from the 1st Military Academy of Miluolan? Is she a sophomore? Yu Juli asked tentatively. No, I'm a senior, Lin Miaomiao replied. Senior, Yu Juli confirmed Lin Miaomiao's identity. However, didn't the 1st Military Academy of Miluolan change the competition format this year? There was something about a half-month wilderness survival competition. The competition should not be over at this time. Could it be that this talented girl was eliminated early? The confusion in Yu Juli's eyes was too obvious, and Lin Miaomiao had to explain. There was an accident in the middle of the competition and it was suspended. They have to use the previous year's competition format again. I see, Yu Juli said, but did not ask what the accident was. If the accident could be made public, they would probably have received the news long ago. After filling out the form, Lin Miaomiao casually said goodbye to Yu Juli and walked towards the examination room. After Lin Miaomiao left, Yu Juli's face lit up with a hearty smile. He had long been dissatisfied with Tang Tang's work attitude and abilities, but he'd been unable to do anything due to Tang Tang's connections. Now, however, it seemed, he had found a good opportunity. Having offended the eldest daughter of the Lin family, Tang Tang's connections were no longer effective. He needed to think carefully about how to report this matter and expel Tang Tang once and for all. But before Yu Juli could formulate a response, his communicator rang. Looking at the incoming call, it was Tang Tang's close associate, Tang Senlin, who answered. President, what's going on? Yu Juli asked respectfully. Tang Senlin's expression was grim. The vice president of the association just called me and said the service here is inadequate. What's going on? Yu Juli's heart skipped a beat. It seemed this Miss Lin was no pushover. She hadn't argued much with him, but had already notified the parents. And now, even the president was in trouble. At that moment, Yu Juli told Tang Tang about the good things she had done, and also revealed Lin Miaomiao's identity in a half-concealed way. Tang Senlin's face turned pale. That damn girl is causing trouble for me again. Find someone to replace her and let her get back here, Yu Juli. Great, I can finally get rid of that jinx. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123 Level 4 Exam. The exam hall was located on the 3rd floor. The Level 4 exam room was on the 6th floor. Since it wasn't that high, Lin Miaomiao didn't bother taking the elevator and simply went up the stairs. The exam room was a large, empty room, save for a table by the door. A middle-aged man in his 40s sat with his legs crossed, watching a video. The content of the video, however, is beyond description. Lin Miaomiao glanced at the small wooden sign on the table. It read, Baok, Level 6 Mecha Pilot. Seeing Lin Miaomiao, Baok seemed startled. Flustered, he tried to turn off the video, but accidentally switched on the audio. Wow, such beautiful clothes. I can get my baby some new clothes again. Lin Miaomiao was speechless. Aren't such childish programs usually watched by little girls? Baok turned off the video and said dryly, This is my daughter's favorite show. I want to cultivate a common interest with her. You're a great father. Lin Miaomiao replied, but there was no need to explain this to her. I think so too, Baok said proudly. By the way, little girl, what are you doing here? Of course it's the exam. Lin Miaomiao was even more speechless. What else could she do here if not to take the exam? Oh, no problem, Baok responded habitually, but after reacting, she exclaimed in surprise, what? You are here to take the level 4 exam? Lin Miaomiao was impatient. What was going on today? Everyone came to question her one by one, so she handed him the application with a gloomy face. Why, you guys are used to judging by age instead of information, how can that be? Baok smiled awkwardly, took the application, glanced at it, and said after confirming that it was the application of a level 4 mecha engineer, I'll arrange the exam project for you right away. As he spoke, he had already turned on the ultra-thin optical computer on the table, entered Lin Miaomiao's application information into the system, clicked on the exam project recommendation, and the results came out quickly. Let me see what you need to do, little girl, Baok muttered. First, command a level 4 mecha to perform some basic movements, including walking, flying, and attacking. Second, perform a dazzling dance so we can admire the mecha's graceful movements. Third, compete against the examiner in a duel. If you remain undefeated for half an hour, you'll pass. Oh, and the first two require the use of firearms. You know, we're advocating for thriftiness these days, and defensive energy shields are very energy intensive. What the hell was that? Lin Miaomiao wanted to flip the table. While the first one was relatively reliable, the last two were clearly embarrassing. Putting aside a whimsical mecha dance, it was practically impossible for a newly qualified level 4 mecha pilot to last half an hour against a level 6 mecha pilot. Last time in the basement of the Lin family villa, Zhu Chen had also sought advice from Yu Hongwen, and reportedly was defeated in less than 10 minutes. So, will you choose to use your own mecha, or the one we provide? Baok asked. Of course, my own, Lin Miaomiao answered without hesitation. The mission was already difficult, and using the crappy mecha they provided was a waste of time. So what are you waiting for? Get started, girl, Baok said passionately. Lin Miaomiao frowned. His tone was like that of some teenage boy. Never mind. Since it was none of her business, Lin Miaomiao put aside these chaotic thoughts and headed towards the center of the examination room. Back on the ship, Lin Miaomiao had video called Lolly, asking her to send Aoksu, who had been left at the Lin family villa, to Lin Yuhei for an upgrade. By the time she returned, Aoksu had already become a level 4 mecha. After summoning Aoksu, Lin Miaomiao began the first test, directing Aoksu forward, backward, and to the left and right. Then, he took off and circled the examination room for a long time. Finally, he unsheathed the large alloy sword strapped to his back and charged at Baok with all his might. Lin Miaomiao was frustrated that 2 of the 3 exam questions went wrong. Seeing Baok's somewhat immature personality, she couldn't help but play a joke on him, stopping the alloy sword just as it was about to reach him. Surprisingly, Baok remained calm throughout, not even attempting to dodge the sword, which made Lin Miaomiao truly impressed. After the first exam, Baok spoke again. You young people are going too far, Baok angrily said. You all like to use this trick. What if you scare me, an old man? How old are you? Lin Miaomiao asked, embarrassed. Baok was even more furious. Don't you know you can't just ask a man his age? Lin Miaomiao, there's no way to communicate. Let's get on with the exam. The second exam question, the mecha dance, was something Lin Miaomiao was quite proficient in. Aoksu loved to do it, and she loved to perform it during practice. If Lin Miaomiao refused, she would constantly fuss and throw a tantrum. After a whirlwind mecha dance, Baok applauded, great. One more. Lin Miaomiao turned on the speakers and said unceremoniously, I think we should start the last part. Baok was displeased, I'm only thinking about you. Wouldn't it be better to get beaten later? If the third question starts counting now, I can continue to perform for you, Lin Miaomiao said. Baok immediately refused, how can that be? I can't cheat for personal gain. With that, he pulled out a mecha and climbed into it with ease. To Lin Miaomiao's relief, the mecha was only level 4, and without level restrictions, the difficulty was reduced. Baok, despite appearing to be a hot-blooded middle school student, was very steady in his mecha handling. He initially made a few tentative attacks on Lin Miaomiao, But when he saw that she had dodged them perfectly, he increased his offensive. Given that the examiner was a level 6 mecha pilot, though not using a level 6 mecha, his reflexes and offensive power were far superior to hers. Lin Miaomiao made no attempt to fight back, instead simply wandering the exam room. Baoke, seeing her constantly dodging, grew frustrated. Lin Miaomiao, aren't you going to fight back? Lin Miaomiao remained calm. The exam only required us to hold out for half an hour, not to fight back. Baoke was speechless and could only intensify her attacks. However, they were indoors, and with the shield activated, many high-damage thermal weapons couldn't be used, making her attacks somewhat limited. In half an hour, Baoke attacked no fewer than 200 times, with a high accuracy, but none of them hit Aoxu's mecha bay, only hitting her limbs. This frustrated Baoke greatly. When Lin Miaomiao's grades were being graded, Baoke was furious, almost ready to give her a negative rating. However, faced with Lin Miaomiao's fierce gaze, she gave her a good rating. Yet he still refused to give up. When Lin Miaomiao said goodbye to him, she said, 18-year-old level 4 mecha master, I wish you can reach level 5 soon. Don't stay at level 4 forever. Lin Miaomiao, is this a curse? There is no shortage of geniuses in the interstellar era. There are even people who have achieved the title of level 4 mecha master at the age of 16. Unfortunately, many geniuses have too much early momentum, and after passing level 4, they never make any progress and remain level 4 mecha masters for the rest of their lives. Chapter 124 The Consequences of Being Late. This time, the selection competition took place in the school's arena, right on campus. The school even held an opening ceremony. Fang Dongqing spoke eloquently for an hour, nearly putting everyone to sleep. After Fang Dongqing, several vice presidents took turns speaking on stage. With the exception of Lin Qing, everyone else took over half an hour. By the time the leaders finished speaking, the entire morning had already passed. Fang Dongqing announced, the preliminary rounds will officially begin at 2 p.m. Students, please arrive on time. The seniors were like, I want to pull that old man off the stage and give him a good beating. What should I do? On the way back, Lin Miaomiao felt a little drained. She hated listening to these boring things. If she had known earlier, she would have stayed home and slept. Yu Zixin came over with a playful smile. Miaomiao, let's go to your house to rest at noon. We need to have a good meal before the competition in the afternoon. Lin Miaomiao glared at him. You know there is a competition in the afternoon, and you still want me to cook? You like cooking anyway, it's a good opportunity to adjust your mood, Yu Zixin persuaded persistently. Liu Kaoer also said pitifully, Miaomiao, I want to eat too. Okay. Lin Miaomiao surrendered helplessly. Everyone was staring at her eagerly. How could she refuse? It seems that having too many bad friends is not a good thing. Back at the Lin family villa, Lin Miaomiao ran straight to the kitchen, but Liu Kaoer held her back. I want to eat lotus blood duck, Yu Zixin quickly said. I want pickled fish, Zhang Xingyan said unyieldingly. I want steamed pork with rice flour, the kind with potatoes underneath. Then I'll have cola chicken wings. Fang Licken also joined in the fun. Sweet and sour spare ribs. This is Zhu Chen. Even Shi Yaoqian, who was still fuming, couldn't contain his anger. And me, I'll have the G-Ram lamb. Lin Miaomiao was irritated. What a bunch of idiots. This wasn't a restaurant, yet they were ordering dishes, all meat at that. They were so flattered. I don't take orders. Eat whatever I make. If you don't want to eat, get out, Lin Miaomiao said with a blank expression, then shook off Liu Kaoer's hand. Everyone condemned Lin Miaomiao's inhumanity, of course, only after she left. Half an hour later, lunch arrived. Sure enough, Lin Miaomiao had cooked all the dishes according to her own ideas. Not a single dish had been ordered before. Steamed egg, stir-fried green beans, hot and sour potato shreds, cucumber salad, and tomato egg soup. Yu Zixin almost cried. There's not even a scrap of meat. Miaomiao, you must have done that on purpose. Liu Kaoer and the others praised her unanimously. It was definitely intentional. That's good to know, Lin Miaomiao admitted generously. Everyone burst into tears. After lunch, everyone rested for a while before heading back to school at 1:30. When they arrived at the arena, not many people had arrived. Lin Miaomiao glanced around the audience and saw that the fleet representatives were already seated at the highest point on the north side. Liu Kaoer noticed this and asked in surprise, Huh? Why are they here? Maybe they're bored and came to play early, Zhang Xingyuan speculated. Lin Miaomiao said with a blank expression, I have a bad feeling. Liu Kaoyer slapped her forehead. That charlatan Lin is at it again, unhappy at not believing her own premonition. Lin Miaomiao fell silent. Zhu Chen suddenly said, perhaps Miaomiao's premonition is correct. We should notify the class to come quickly. Yu Zixin and the others were puzzled, but Zhu Chen made no effort to explain. He picked up his address book and sent a text message to everyone in the class. Lin Miaomiao thought for a moment and sent a message to Zhang Qi and Li Jiaqi as well. Although Zhu Chen didn't explain the reason, the students in Class 4A still arrived at the arena before 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, Feng Dongqing arrived at the ring in a scooter. His first words were, Zhang Jia, close the door. Latecomers will be disqualified. The students were in an uproar, some frantically calling out to their friends, hurry up. You're late and you'll be disqualified. However, it was too late. Many missed the entrance by mere seconds, and could only watch helplessly from their scooters as the ring door slowly closed. Open the door. Let me in. I'm only a minute late, someone shouted, knocking frantically. Zhang Jia said, as a soldier, you can't lose track of time. On the battlefield, if you're a minute late, your comrades will be gone forever, but I'm not a soldier yet, someone retorted unconvincedly. Zhang Jia sneered, but this tryout is to select true soldiers. If you're not mentally prepared, you don't deserve to be here. With that, Zhang Jia no longer bothered to pay attention to the people outside and took a seat in the audience. Lin Miaomiao and the others were seated right by the door, and they could clearly see more and more people gathering outside. When they found out they couldn't participate in the competition, they were all shocked and helpless. The fragile ones even cried. They are so pitiful, Liu Kaoyer said sympathetically. They studied hard for several years just to be able to join a good fleet after graduation, but they missed the chance to show themselves just because they were a few seconds late. Lin Miaomiao and Feng Liken nodded in agreement, but several boys disagreed. Even the usually gentle Zhu Chen believed that those people were just asking for trouble. For such an important competition, they actually want to be on time or be late. In the eyes of those soldiers, it's a violation of military discipline, Zhu Chen said. They don't need soldiers who don't abide by military discipline, no matter how capable they are. In fact, they probably thought they would be delayed in the afternoon because they saw the principal talked a lot in the morning, Liu Kaoyer said weakly. Yu Zixin yawned said, so what? How can you not even have the patience to listen to a lecture from your leader? Well, Yu Zixin's words successfully convinced the three girls. No one paid any attention to those who had been disqualified. After all, it had nothing to do with them. Aside from the 10 members of the soy sauce team, Feng Dongqing had already called the rest of the competitors to the ring, and the already large arena immediately became overcrowded. The arena was too crowded to maneuver, and those who arrived late were at a disadvantage, barely standing at the edge. If anyone inside exerted any force, they would likely be finished. Some clever people tried to squeeze in, and before the match even started, the arena was in chaos. What are you pushing for? Stop it. The competition hasn't even started yet, and you're all rushing to reincarnate, Feng Dongqing shouted into the loudspeaker on the flying car. However, it was no use. Those who needed to squeeze continued to squeeze in. Everyone ignored the principal's kind words, and Feng Dongqing became angry and embarrassed. If you keep pushing, you won't compete. Everyone will be disqualified, Feng Dongqing threatened mercilessly. The mechas huddled together on the stage froze, and the contestants burst into tears. Principal, you're so arrogant. Do your wife and son know about this? Lin Miaomiao and the others felt it was a pity. If everyone on the stage was disqualified, wouldn't they be taking advantage? They begged the principal to deal strictly with those who didn't follow the rules. Chapter 125 Knocked Down. Feng Dongqing's words quelled the chaos, and he was incredibly pleased. Seeing that the time had already reached 2:10, he finally gave the order, begin. The arena was ablaze. Those inside pushed outwards in unison, attempting to throw the outer mechas off the stage first. However, those outside were no pushovers, dodging and moving towards the center, trying to gain a strong position. The arena was so crowded that a mech was pushed out of the ring just as the match began. Zhang Qi, who had run to Lin Miaomiao's side after the match began, sighed, thank goodness we're getting a special treatment. Otherwise, with my reaction speed, I'd have been pushed off the stage like those others. What a shame, Li Jiaqi said with a disgruntled chuckle. She had already been eliminated, and the giant panda had been found after her elimination. And yet, she still owed him a favor, saying she would be joining them in the arena later. "It's okay," Zhang Keek said with a smile. After returning home, Meng Xiaozu threw another tantrum, but this time she refused to give in. Although she was once again lectured by her mother, she spoke her mind freely. Zhang Keek felt happy recalling her mother's speechless expression. Lin Miaomiao suddenly said, "It's not bad to have her with us, at least she can help Keek share some of the burden." Like the level 4 mechas, the level 2 mechas were also quite conspicuous. Zhu Chen could still resist, but Zhang Keek was powerless. Having a cannon fodder wasn't a bad thing. Zhang Keek was amused. She'd been Meng Xiaozu's cannon fodder since she was a child, and it was a rare opportunity to change, so it felt really good. After a few casual chats, everyone's attention returned to the arena. In just a few minutes, most of the mechas on the arena had been cleared out. It was no longer the mechas in the center of the arena ganging up on the ones outside, but rather the level 3 mechas uniting to boycott the few level 4 mechas. There were only a dozen or so level 4 mechas, and facing dozens of them, they couldn't unite and could only circle the arena. Fortunately, they were faster than the level 3 mechas, so they were safe for a while. "So slow," Yuzixin complained. "I wanted to finish the fight soon and go back to the dorm to rest." Liu Kaoyer rolled her eyes at him. "You can go back now, damn. That won't work. I'll be laughed to death by my brothers and sisters if I get a 0, Yuzixin raged. "Don't try to frame me," Liu Kaoyer said nothing. In fact, she also found it boring to watch from below. Although most of the mechas were gone from the arena, there were still over 300 left. With more room to maneuver, it would be even harder to eliminate the opponents. "Look, why does that move look so familiar?" Zhang Xingyant suddenly shouted. Everyone looked up, speechless. In such a situation, someone actually used Lin Miaomiao's famous move, rolling back and forth. Yuzixin asked seriously, "Could you tell me what Lin Miaomiao thinks about someone stealing her unique skills?" Lin Miaomiao blinked. "My thought is, that person is about to roll off the stage." The stage's shield wasn't activated, leaving no shelter around the edges. If they didn't control their speed, the consequences would be unpredictable. However, those on the stage only saw the mech roll a few times, knocking several mechas off the stage, and then another mech lying down. Before long, most of the mechas on the stage had been knocked off the stage, and those that had used the rogue roll technique also fell off the stage. Those that rolled off on their own. "It feels like we're almost on stage," Fang Licken muttered to herself. The stage was already quite empty, with only 100 or so mechas still fighting. Now there was room for them to show their skills, and the 7 or 8 surviving level 4 mechas began to take revenge. Unable to use firearms, everyone unleashed specialized mecha weapons, including broadswords, heavy swords, spears, and 9-toothed rakes. Lin Miaomiao even spotted a massive brick, and the ring erupted in the clashing of heavy weapons. Another quarter of an hour passed before Fang Dongqing finally called a halt. Lin Miaomiao glanced over and saw that the massive brick-shaped mecha still stood firm. A chain as thick as a human arm tethered it to the brick, allowing it to be used for both close-range and long-range attacks. "I want a brick, too," Liu Kaoyer enviously said. Yuzixin scoffed. "Wake up. It's our turn to go up." They walked to the open area below the auditorium to retrieve their mechas. With the exception of Meng Xiaozu, who was left alone, Lin Miaomiao and the other 9 went on stage together. Zhang Keek, being the lowest level, was sandwiched between the others. Upon entering, they were greeted with a warm welcome. The 100 mechas in the ring surrounded them, awaiting Fang Dongqing's command to clear them out. As the battle was set up, someone suddenly asked in surprise, "Why are there 2 level 4 mechas? Besides Zhu Chen, who's the other one?" No one answered, as the melee had already begun. Just as Lin Miaomiao had said, Meng Xiaozu is the first to be thrown off the stage, tossed by a level 4 heavy mecha. But Lin Miaomiao had no time to sympathize with her, for she, too, was being targeted. As Zhu Chen's cannon fodder, Lin Miaomiao was being targeted by 3 level 4 mechas and a dozen level 3 mechas. She felt exhausted. They had clearly come here for a friendly exchange, so why were they being so ostracized? This was forcing her to unleash her ultimate move. While dodging, Lin Miaomiao saw that Yuzixin and the others had seamlessly merged into the level 3 mechas. Only she and Zhu Chen stood out, having been targeted. As for Zhang Keek, She had already followed Meng Xiaozu's footsteps and been pushed off the stage. Lin Miaomiao, a recent upgrader and unable to ascend, was no match for the onslaught of so many mechas. She nearly got kicked off the ring several times. Zhu Chen wasn't much better off. Two fists couldn't defeat many hands, after all. There were more mechas attacking him than Lin Miaomiao. This wasn't going to work. She had to resort to a desperate measure. She was doomed to be eliminated anyway, so she might as well drag a few more people down with her. Finally, Lin Miaomiao made up her mind. She took advantage of the opportunity to lie on the ground and unleashed her mutual destruction roll. Oh my god. This 4th level mech operator must be Lin Miaomiao. One mech cursed loudly as it was knocked out. Again, that shameless tactic, as long as it worked, Lin Miaomiao thought innocently. She rolled over and tried to roll towards the group of 3rd level mechas, eventually successfully knocking down a dozen or so mechas at the edge of the ring. Of course, she couldn't stop herself and rolled off. After controlling the mecha to land in the open space under the arena, Lin Miaomiao calmly got off the mecha, and then saw Shi Yaoqian's changeable face among a group of bitter faces. Lin Miaomiao asked in surprise, "Yaoqian, why did you get off too?" Shi Yaoqian said woodenly, "Of course I was knocked down." Lin Miaomiao was embarrassed. She really didn't mean to do it. Who knew it would be such a coincidence? End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.